Hi guys, my name is Sean. I'm a houseplant enthusiast from Jakarta, Indonesia. Welcome to today's video where I'm going to be giving you a plant tour of all my plants, and it's going to be a very long video. I have a feeling, I don't know yet because I haven't filmed it yet, but as I mentioned in my previous video, I'm actually moving out of this house, so I'll be sharing with you some of the plant ID and some plant care tips, and also maybe some of my plans with the plants, because some of them I'm selling, some of them I'm moving into my nursery, some of them I'm moving into my private residence. So basically in this tour, I'm just going to go through what's going on in my head, and I hope that you guys enjoy this video. And this is going to be a goodbye to this home, I guess, because I'm moving all the plants out pretty much immediately after this video. So I guess the next time I'll see you, I'll be in a new setting, new environment. Bye. Let's start our tour right back there. That's where we normally film our things. It's so messy right now, I haven't had the time to clean. But let's get started from over here. This is a fiddle leaf fig, and it's grown very big, and it enjoys very good light. It gets a little bit of direct sunlight, in fact. So these old leaves are a little bit busted, but the new leaves up top are the ones that grew since I moved it here. It dropped a few leaves when I moved it, even though it's a good condition for it here. They just don't like to be moved. Give them some time and their new leaf should be doing well. I might leave this tree here because I don't know where I can bring it to. So yeah, this is going to stay here. And up here there's a staghorn fern. And let me see, the main plant is way over there. Let me come around. I may have lost all the fronds actually. That's where the old plant used to be. I think all the main fronds fell off, but these are the babies that sprout from below that and from the sides. There's quite a few plants in here. I can either keep it as a big clump or divide that up later. I think I may divide it. So yeah, there's some Hupertia. These are two different species of Hupertia. I'm not exactly sure of the names, or I may be completely wrong, but this is the one that is most commonly found. And there's a little bit of Tillandsia, the Spanish moss that got stuck in here. The main plant is over there, so I was yanking it out and this came with it. But apparently it survived and it's doing well. I guess this is going to grow into its own plant in here. But yeah, that's exciting. This Hupertia is putting out a baby actually. Look at that one. Cute. So I got this when it was pretty small, and it does have these cute little, I don't know what you call these, like chains of things here. I don't know why they grow these things, but this is quite beautiful. It's a very nice contrast to this leaf texture that is right here. And they're actually very fun to pat, very rubbery. And this is actually a little bit dry. I should have pruned these off, but these are all the new growth. My hands are dirty. Let me wipe it on my shirt. Yeah, these are all the new growth. So it's growing kind of upwards, and then it will get heavy and come down eventually. So yeah, these are all doing quite well. Basically, this whole section I hose down every day, and once in a while I stick a little bit of slow release fertilizer. There you go, back there. I just stick one back there, so it's going to slowly feed the plant, give it some nutrient. There's a Hoya imbricata here. This is dormant. It hasn't given me a vine, so it's still alive though. It's been a year and a half and it hasn't done anything. I'm going to get another one of these because they're quite beautiful when they vine, when they put up these leaves. And here is the Dischidia rattleskull. I forgot the Latin name. It's going to be on the screen, of course. I think this is actually declining a bit. This is falling. I'm so sorry. Maybe this is a little bit too dark for it because it's not getting good light. It used to be in my balcony, but these are actually their runners. It's gone all over the place. Look at that. It's gone all the way up here. So these can all be propagated, and I'm going to do that once I have this plant moved into my nursery area. I'm going to propagate many of these because they're quite beautiful. So yeah, again, I'm sorry I kind of neglected this plant, but I'm going to nurse it back to health. Next we have this Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. I've propagated so many of these from this plant. Let me show you where it's going. It went up here, all the way up. I actually cut up a whole vine, but I cut it right here and the whole vine was already way up there by the ceiling. But this one kept growing. This is about, I don't know, maybe like 6 months worth of growth. And it just wants to find something to lean into. So this is how they behave in nature. So when you have them indoors, they will climb up walls and things like that, or other plants. But I really like that. They really don't know their size. They will overtake this giant monstera here in terms of height. So these are very good climbers. Which brings us to the next plant here. This is a giant monstera. I'm definitely bringing this with me. Look at that new leaf. It's just so pretty. I really enjoy having these guys around. I like them as much as my variegated monsteras. and it's doing really well. Look at all the stems in there, and that's the pot that it's in. So yeah, and down here we have a Philodendron melanochrysum. We have a video on this, which is coming out anytime now. And this has been cut. This is the parent plant. And I believe there's a vine that, yeah, there's a vine. It's not doing so well. So I guess it's a little bit dark for it. It's not getting the best light. I would consider this somewhere between medium to low indirect light. So this is going to enjoy the move when I bring it. It's going to get better light. But melanochrysums, when you move them, they will stressed out. They may have some leaf damages, they may drop a few leaves, but they're gonna adapt quite well. And then down here we have some Tenanti Burlemarks, if I'm not wrong, and some Calathea, was Majestica. No, sorry, this is not it. This is some other Calathea. I can't remember the name, but it's got really beautiful, shiny, velvety leaves. Very pretty, and it likes low light, which is why it's hanging out back here. This is our Anthurium crystallinum from one of our videos. I did cut this up, so I cut it somewhere around here, and it's not as bushy as before, but they do recover rather quickly. And this leaf, let me see, I may actually take this off, because if a leaf is more than half, oh my god, I should get my shears, but I'm too busy. Okay, sorry. That really bothers me. So when the plant is more than half damaged, the leaf, it's time to take it off, because it's going to be draining energy from the plant. And back here we have some philodendron. Let me check the, yeah, Atta bapuense. So this is also a cutting from our video that we did. It's climbing up really well, but I think it would appreciate better light too, because it's under the monstera, so it's not getting the best light. So there's that. This is a philodendron elegans. I did take many cuttings from this, so this is put out a new growth here. This is where I made the cut, and they're very slow to propagate, actually, these guys. And this leaf is a little bit damaged. They're actually quite beautiful. This is one of my most underrated philodendron, actually, in terms of beauty, because they look like palms, like palm trees, but then they're a little bit easier to care for and have a little bit of an interesting growth pattern that I really like. Back there, this is a Plumanii. Let's put out a new baby leaf here. I think what I did, if I'm not wrong, is that I just cut it. Let me see, did I do that? Yeah, I cut it. This is moving rather easily. So I just cut it in half, and that's why that is growing back here. So this is going to become two plants. This is the top growth, where it's going to be continuously putting out leaf after leaf. And then the back here, because I cut off the top, it's going to start bushing out into its own plant. And then eventually I can separate it. In fact, I see a growing point here, growing eye. I could actually cut behind that, like cut below that. That would encourage this to also, this leaf or this node here behind, to put out a new vine. And this may actually activate too. So yeah. Anyways, I digress. I need to start moving on faster, because this video is going to be 2 hours long. This is an Anthurium radiatum. Very pretty. I got it as a young plant. It's put out 3 to 4 leaves, I think. And it's getting low light. Again, I'm so sorry. I need to give you better light. But you look so pretty hidden back there, no? And yeah, it's gonna do quite well. I killed my first one. They really hate overwatering. But this one's in a very good potting mix here. As you can see, very fast draining. This is in a medium silver. It's doing quite well. It's starting vine. I was gonna let it climb up this wall, but I guess it only made it this far. And it's got really beautiful fenestrations. I've propagated so many of these because they put out runners, so you can propagate the runners quite easily. And back here, this is a Scindapsus silver splash, and look at how spectacular it looks when it's climbing up the wall. It's shingles, and the leaf actually turns around when they do that. So I'm going to be really sad removing this from the wall, but I think it's coming with me. I want to propagate these. Imagine those growing on like a wood plank. That would be so pretty, no? Back here, this is a Dracaena, if I'm not wrong, or it could be a Yucca. I'm not sure. It keeps getting fungus down below. In fact, the fungus has returned. Hello. So I'm not sure if I'm going to bring this with me, but yeah, this is kind of a problem plant. I think it needs more light than it's getting up, back here. So yeah, that's a dead fern. I feel so bad. I completely ignored it up there. And here is a lot of Hoyas. So there's Hoya pubicalyx splash, and these are the babies. And these are also the babies on here. So I just hung from one pot to another pot to another pot below. And these are doing quite well. They need low light to bring out the specks. If you give them highlight, they will flower more, but they will give you light green leaves with no specks. That's Hoya carnosa, the green form, also with a little bit of specks. So I actually put it here to get a little bit lower light to promote the specks. So let's see, we'll see in about a year's time how they're doing. But I really love having these here. I love watching so many new growth points on these guys. I actually stuck many cuttings in here. And here's a Hoya carnosa compacta cutting. I don't remember what Hoya that is. I don't label all my Hoyas, so I don't really know all of the names. This one is the Imperialist White. I cheated a little bit. I read from this cheat sheet. But yeah, I grew this new vine. This was from our Pandica Hoya tour that I got. That's a Hoya macrophylla variegata. And what I was really surprised by this plant is that this is actually from them and from that plant. And it flowered, even though it was a propagated plant, it flowered very profusely. In fact, look at all these peduncles. And this one was kept in slightly lower light. This was probably medium indirect light. While I have ones that we may see later that's grown in full sun, and those are giving me really beautiful variegation. Those are growing really fast. They're growing many leaves, but then it wasn't flowering. So I have a feeling that these guys do need a little bit of a lower light situation to flower. And then here's the Hoya lacunosa. I've got many of these. Look at how cute it's attaching itself to the wall. It's creeping along. Oops, sorry, you're not meant to see that. That is, I believe, some kind of mealybugs. It's like yellow in color. Usually mealybugs are white, but normally with these guys, I would of course treat them with a bit of fluoride. I just actually applied this here a few days ago. As you can see, it's still fresh, but this will kill them over time. But I also just hose it down. You can knock them off and they will die if you hose them off. So this is another Hoya. I don't remember all my Hoya names. I'm so sorry. I should have labeled everybody. I think I see a label here. This is a melliflua, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, and I put my Hoyas next to each other so I can remember what they are. This is a Hoya macrophylla, pot of gold. And then here, I believe it's the same Hoya as before, the melliflua. There's a Dischidia pactinoides. I think this guy prefers brighter light, and I didn't give it. So, hang on, wait, this is not a pactinoides, sorry, this is something else. This is an imbricata. Sorry about that. Or it could be something else, I'm not sure, because apparently there's so many species of Dischidias, and many of them has been mislabeled. This is a Hoya pachyclada. I really love the leaves. It's such a slow grower. I may have another pot of these propagating somewhere else, I'm not sure, but I guess we'll run into it later, maybe. Don't remember what that is. That is definitely a philodendron. And here is a Rhaphidophora baby, one of the cuttings. More Hoyas. This one is blooming a little bit. It's not opened up, but the peduncles are established. Look at this little one there, this little peduncle baby. Hello. So this is a Hoya, what is this? Oh, this is a Hoya macrophylla. Sorry, and this is flowering quite profusely too. Again, this is also in a little bit of a lower light situation. Not lower, sorry, like medium indirect light. And it's flowering really beautifully. There on the top shelf, there's a philodendron pink princess. I don't think it's very pink at all. It's got one leaf. I'm trying to film it. Sorry. It's a leaf that's kind of pink. So I'm going to be propagating that. Hopefully I'll get more pinks out of them. This is a Florida Ghost cutting that rooted really well. This is a Squamiferum. This is one of the parent plants of the Philodendron Florida Ghost, because this is a cultivar. So this is one of the parents. There's two Philodendron Birkins. This is from our Philodendron Birkin video, but these are the cuttings that grew into this. I sold, I think, 3 of the plants. The mother plant, we'll see later, it's gotten really huge. And up there we've got the Epipremnum skeleton key from our video. Just look those video titles up on my channel, because you'll find the care and propagation for these. You'll see them up close and personal. That's a really beautiful plant. This is a Philodendron Martianum. Let me take this out because this is worth mentioning. This is so beautiful. Look at that. Love the fat stems. This is pretty easy to care for, although I would say do not overwater these because they store so much water in these fat chubby stems. So I gave it terracotta pot, arid potting mix, and I just water it lightly every day. The leaves are getting big actually. I got this when it was like super tiny, and it can get huge. So yeah, I hope that this doesn't grow too fast though. I really enjoy having this around. So I hope that it stays small for a long time so I can enjoy you. And then here are some bird nest ferns that are attacked by southern blight fungus. So I just cut it up, because they grow in a rosette. So I just cut it up into 4 sections and put them in their own pots. And they're doing quite well. Look at all the new leaves that are growing. And then I spray fungicide here very often just to make sure that it doesn't return. So it is recovering, and I really love the variegated one. I would be really sad if I lost it, but I guess it's doing well now. It's recovering. And down here, this is my Anthurium section. This is the Anthurium vitarifolium, my Anthurium Variegation. This is still a baby. I got it when it was like this small. So cute. And I think it's time to propagate it. If you look at the main stem, look at all these aerial roots that are forming. And I think this is going to be very easy to propagate, because normally when I see them, they are very close internodes. But this guy, or girl rather, it has pretty long internodes. And then I don't know why that leaf is pointing backwards. This is actually the biggest leaf. Hello. And that's more crystallinums. These are the cuttings from our videos, crystallinums. And this is the forgetii, baby forgetii. I got this as a really small plant, and it came in a pot that's like huge. But of course it rotted and I had to save it, and I think that's like some kind of bug, so I need to wipe this off. Technically I should wash my hands before I touch other leaves. I don't want to contaminate this webbing. I don't know what this is, but we gotta continue filming, so let me wipe my hand on my shirt once more time. So yeah, this is the forgetii. This is the ace of spades. I have finally learned to label my plants. This is just a baby. This is an Anthurium veitchii, by the way. Anthurium veitchii baby. Got them as little seedlings. I did not germinate the seeds. I know nothing about germinating seeds. So this is an Anthurium belluanum. And that will, I can't remember what this is, but this was struggling for a long time. I believe this is, I don't know, I really can't. If you know what this is, do comment down below. This is an Anthurium polyschictum. I don't know how to say it, but I have many cuttings of these rooting away, and actually this would really want to climb up to something, but I just let it kind of fall. It's really beautiful. I love the shape of the leaves here. So yeah, I'm gonna insert all the name, of course, on the screen so you know what it is. There's some Amedrium zippaliniums back here. Look at all those crazy runners. You can propagate all of those. Some Amedrium, medium silver. There's Monstera Peru. They're everywhere, by the way. We'll see more of these in other areas because I'm messy like that. Some Calathea ruskifolia, rattlesnake Calathea. These are all propagating. This is propagating. So yeah, and that's a Calathea majestica princeps. This is actually one of my favorite Calatheas, and it's got imperfect leaves because I just keep moving it around and things just damage it along the way, but it likes low light. The new leaves are usually beautiful, but I guess they just don't look so perfect in nature, so I shouldn't be so mindful about it. I want to keep one of these indoors someday so I can get those perfect leaves. Hoya dolichospardae? I don't know, but it is looking pretty. Look at the veins on the leaves. This is really pretty. Yeah, I need to start keeping my Hoyas indoors because when you keep them outdoors, they become like imperfect like these. They look like they're jungle Hoyas, but they actually look really pretty and spectacular when they have these perfect leaves grown indoors. So I may just do that. And up here, spoiler, we have a lot of ZZ Raven. There's a video coming up on that. And some regular ZZ, some dwarf ZZ, some variegated ZZs. And this one is cute. Hang on, let me pull this out. This is baby Sansevieria twister. Of course, the twister part is not giving me variegated. This is the parent leaf. So the new plant is not variegated at all, but I really love how they grow in a clump, kind of like this. It's very pretty. It just needs a better pot than this. So I did water this every day, by the way, ever since I propagated it. You can water your Sansevierias every day if it's used to it, and I've seen people do it. And also if you have it in really good light and good airflow and it's doing really well, you may be able to get away with watering them every day. Here's my Syngonium corner, Syngonium erythrophyllum, I don't know this name, Syngonium mojito. I'm trying an experiment. So this one is grown in a little bit of a lower light. Yeah, so one is grown in high light, one is in low light, because someone told me that you have to grow them in low light to get the variegation. And I just proved them wrong. Hang on, I haven't checked this in a while. I just proved them wrong. When you keep them in low light, the variegation is gone. So I don't know who came up with it. It's the same with that Paraso Verde back there. I don't know if you can see what I'm pointing at. I don't know where you guys are getting the information. Please do comment down below. I would like to know who's been saying that you need to keep plants in low light to get their variegation. This is wrong. And I've also had my Parasol Verde revert to green when I put them in lower light. They need high light to give you variegation. Trust me, this is the living proof of that. So I may have to cut this up later and propagate it to hopefully bring back some variegation. But you know what, let me bring you to the other plant. So this one is grown in a little bit of direct sunlight. And actually I propagated these because the parent plant itself was already kind of reverting. So to give you a benefit of the doubt, this plant was already reverting before I moved it here. But this is a new vine and it's put out pretty variegated leaves. Of course, there's too much direct sunlight. Hang on, let me move it away. And yeah, that's an interesting vine, and this one is doing all right. It's put out variegated leaves, and this one new leaf is also pretty variegated. So yeah, it is, I mean, not the best variegation, but it is still happening compared to the reverted one that we saw earlier. So I may have to keep chopping them up and do selective breeding or selective natural selection so I can get just the variegated leaves. But yeah, keep your plants in highlight where possible, you guys, but not too high, because sometimes when you have Syngoniums in like full sun, you may bleach the leaves. They may become like light green in color. It's just not very sexy. All right, on with the tour. There's a Phalaenopsis orchid back there. We have a lot more in the back section later. This is a Begonia maculata. It's put out, I cut it here and it's put out new leaves, and new leaves. So a lot of them are propagating away. Some Amedrium, medium silver. We'll see it from the front later, but this is the Anthurium clarinervium. It's not doing so well. It keeps flowering for me, and it doesn't have that many leaves actually. Yeah, I kind of neglect this guy. It leaves getting smaller and smaller, so I suspect they may be passed down here. So I'll be doing a care and propagation video on these very soon, so expect that. Down here, there's my begonia corner. I don't really know the names of my begonias, but this is all pretty. I got them when they were all very, very small. And some of them actually died because they always die when you bring them home. And this is actually from our Minaku Home Nature Tour, and it's doing really well. Yeah, this is the plant that we got and about 2 months ago. This is doing quite okay too. This was a rescue. It was a stump. This is the Begonia Black Mamba, Begonia listata if I'm not wrong. And this is the Begonia escargot. I've got a lot more up there too. They're rehabbing, so there's too many begonias. But yeah, so this is the Calathea repens. I think there's a new name for it, but they do flower quite beautifully. And they're quite easy to propagate. This is my experiment where I just take a cutting and just stuck it right into the soil, and it's doing really well. So they trail beautifully, but if you let them clamber on the floor, they can also clamber quite beautifully. So these are all weird jungle type plants area. And there's a Labicia, if I'm not wrong. I can't remember what this is. Look at the new leaf. This is so beautiful. It's very enchanting. There's some more here. I believe this is a Pilea. And if you look back up here, there's some orchids. I don't really remember the names of these. But yeah, there's some orchids that are stuck on this placard here. I really enjoy having them around. I do need to water them. And these are some of the harder orchids to care for. I did lose a few of them. But this is really pretty. Hello, little one. Yeah, I really like them. Something hit my something hit my face. I was so scared. Okay, it startled me. Yeah, there's some jewel orchids down here, and the humidity is high, and they're getting medium indirect light here. Some more jewel orchid here. This was actually worse looking before. I know that it doesn't look amazing now, but these are all rescue. I got them very cheap. Down here we've got some Maranta leuconoria, and this is doing really well. Back here it likes low light. It loves low light. They will curl up if you give them medium or bright indirect light, and they will grow slower, and they will put up too many flowers if you give them too much light. Here's that blue oil fern, and there's a lot of peperomias, watermelon peperomias back here. And down here we've got some Tenante setosa, if I'm not wrong. Some more propagating back there. That one isn't doing so hot. But let's see, because I will wait for new shoots to emerge from below. I believe those are baby leaves that are emerging. Maybe the parent leaf is not doing so well. But yeah, they also like pretty low light, I noticed. Low to medium light, because they can curl up very easily if you give them bright indirect light. Right back here we have got a lot of begonias propagating away. This is the Begonia Arabian Sunset. I really love the underside of the leaves. I've been selling quite a few of these little plantlets, but I'm going to propagate some more because these are all ready to be propagated again. They're so pretty with the morning light. I really enjoy having these. This is a very underrated begonia. They're also one of the easier ones to care for, easy to propagate, and just add such a beautiful pop of color to any landscaping. It can take anywhere from low to bright indirect light and even a little bit of direct sunlight. And down here we've got a lot of beautiful begonia black velvet, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, my brain is starting to shut down, by the way, because this is so much information that I'm sharing. But it is looking pretty. I really love this little basket over here. And down here we've got a lot of maculatas that are propagating away. This leaf is not doing well because this is the parent leaf that we propagated with. Let's pull this off. But the new leaves are looking pretty. Look at them. Hello. Look how pink this one is. Very, very nice. This really is my favorite rack. And this is another begonia. This was actually my first successful begonia that were grown from leaf vein that were sliced. So I may experiment with that a little bit more in the future when I nail it and share it with you guys here on the channel. This is a dark begonia. This is not as red as the begonia Arabian Sunset, a little bit more understated, but very pretty still. It's got rubbery leaves. So yeah, there's some more things here. Something's living back there. I don't know what it is, but yeah, let's leave it alone for now. Some Anthuriums back here, Ascindapsis, Pictus exotica that I propagated and just left the parent plant here. It is common for them to shed leaves once in a while, as long as new leaves are growing. And then there's a Philodendron silver sword that's getting way too little light. This is way too dark for it. And I just want to chop it up at some point for a video and then show you how I can grow bigger leaves. Of course, you'll need better light for that. So yeah, that's going to happen at some point in the future. These are some beautiful Homalominas, by the way. I have rehab. This is some fuzzy Homalomina. There's another one back there. And then there's one here, which is, let me get closer. This is actually very pretty. And I actually don't recommend this species because I've seen them, I think, taken from forests. In fact, the one that I got here may have been poached. So I don't really recommend this species at the time, and they're not so the easiest to care for. But this is alive, and I think it should put out new growth. From below, I'm going to propagate it, and hopefully someday it'll be in wide cultivation, and you guys can get it then. But meanwhile, please don't buy these plants because they are heavily poached. When I got these, they were in really bad shape. I got these about 4 or 5 months ago, but it's put out new leaves. So yeah, I don't think they ship very well too. So don't order them and have them sent to your country from a rainforest here and have them die in your living room. That's just not fun, right? And I believe this is also a Homalomina, and this is an Anthurium medium. There's a Hoya back here, fuzzy Hoya. I love petting this. Can't remember the name. Hopefully I can insert. Oh yeah, let me see here. Hopefully I can insert all the names where possible so you guys know what I'm. This Hoya affinis. Yeah, I don't remember that name at all. I have too many plants, you guys. Up here, some Hoya carnosa, the regular form. And this right here, let me see if I have a tag. I don't have a tag on these. I can't remember what this is either. And back there we have some Hoya macrophylla. The pot is way up here, but it's trailing down. And here we've got some hanging Hoyas as well. Very pretty. I love having them around the garden, but I just don't remember all their names. This is the Hoya midoresis. Yeah, I believe these are ones that are more well known for the flowers than the leaves. This is a Philodendron plumanii, narrow form, dark face, black face rather. It's darker and it's putting out a new leaf. We got this, I think, about half a year ago. Some Calathea, what do you call this? Mecayana. They're not the easiest to care for. And then there's a lot of Hoyas back there. I think, can't remember all the names, sorry. This is the MA20 that I got from Pandika. This one is cute. This one's the fuzzy one. It's got a fuzzy underside for a Hoya. That's a new leaf here. And the new leaves are quite beautiful. When they sprout, they are this white, furry fur balls when they come out. So yeah, there's some, I want to say Calistophylla, but I could be wrong. This doesn't look like the regular Calistophylla. There's a lot of these Pibicaulics splash that are grown in low light, which is why they have these beautiful splashes. And I want to see them more actually. Hopefully more gardens will have them. I'm going to be propagating a lot of these, and I'm going to be promoting a lot of these because they look really pretty. This is another beautiful Hoya. I can't remember the name. Feel free to shout out, by the way, if you know the name of these Hoyas, but this is rather beautiful. I did kill it once, and I took some cuttings from the ones that I nearly killed, and this is the result from that. This is like tangling up, sorry. There's a Dischidia, I believe this is a Dischidia numularia that is just grown on a twig that I wrapped some coconut coir around and just mist this every day. This is the regular philodendron plumanii. Let's put out a new leaf. Hi. Very cute. And then that is another Hoya macrophylla. I love having them around. And up there are a lot of maidenhair ferns. I shouldn't put ferns up here because I forget to water them. They cannot be left to dry out completely. There's a melanochrysum back there, and this is where the pot begins. I don't know why it's not giving me bigger and bigger leaves, and I have a feeling that's because the pot may be a little bit small. That's the pot where it came from. And there's so many leaves here. So I'm gonna have to propagate this and try to grow bigger leaves from here. And this back here is a philodendron lupinum. It's known for its, I don't know if I can reach over. Yeah. It's known for its very beautiful pink backs and very, very velvety leaves. Very pretty. And they have a beautiful adult form. The leaves become like crazy big and it splits into 3. So hopefully I'll get there someday, but today is not the day. Oh yeah, and there's more of the philodendron lupinum is back behind this wall. Look at how pretty it's glowing behind that light. The outline is just so pretty, and the pink back is just so nice. And that's a Syngonium erythrophyllus. It's erythrophyllum or phylus, I don't know, that is climbing up. So, and that's a philodendron atabapuanse that is getting much better light. As you can see, it'll give you bigger leaves. Back here we have a philodendron josebuano. It took a lot of cuttings. They're rooting away right now. They're pretty slow to root, but they're fast to grow. This is a new vine that came out after I made the cut, so it came out from down here. This is a Epipremnum Cebu Blue. It's starting to split. So what I'm doing here, instead of having it climb up a wall, I took a vine. So the main pot is here. I took the vine and I just kind of circled it around the pot and just kept pinning each node onto the media to let it root into here. So hopefully that will give me bigger and bigger leaves, but so far it hasn't. The leaves, let me look. This is the newest leaf. I guess it is kind of splitting, but this needs better light actually. This is not the ideal situation for it. So yeah, as the more leaves come, I'm just gonna wind it around, and I'm even moving it into a different pot to let it root. So I want to experiment with this method of getting leaves to fenestrate, because sometimes not all of us has this room for plants to climb onto. And this pot here, it leads you right up to the Philodendron brandtianum, and I know that you can't see how big this leaf is, but it's probably as big as my palm. So yeah, I will be sad to take this down because it's doing so well here. It's having the time of its life. But yeah, it's coming with me for sure. So here's the Philodendron Perisoverde back here. I took many cuttings from this. Hiding back here, this is the Philodendron Sharonii from our video. I think that's coming out in 2 weeks from now. Probably already out by the time you see this video. Doing really well. That's a new growth. So this, I believe, is the parent plant from where I cut. We got many plants out of this actually. And this is the Anthurium veitchii hybrid that I propagated. I took single leaf node cuttings. I didn't film this yet, but I may eventually. But this is quite beautiful. This is like a discount Anthurium veitchii if you cannot afford the purebred one. This is actually a little bit cheaper and it's got big leaves. I just took single nodes with a little bit of aerial roots. Look at that, new growth is coming. How cute. I wasn't sure if this was actually going to work. So I've got a few of these rooting away. This is a zigzag cactus. I forgot the Latin name for this. And this is quite pretty actually. This is the Amydrium zipilanium. I really love how they look when they're climbing up like a wall or something. They make really beautiful landscaping plants because they look like palm, except they do climb and they can get really big if you let them climb up really high. So I'm scratching my arms left and right because mosquitoes and flies are getting to me. This is really beautiful. This is the Perisoverde again. I've got many of these. This is again from our video. We've got one more Perisoverde here. There's a Philodendron Pink Princess that is not very pink. But I am patient, so one day I'm gonna cut them all up and hope Actually, that's a little bit variegated, no? I believe this next leaf would be a bit variegated because you can see from the stripe here. Their variegation is super random. I really don't like that about them. And here's the staghorn fern that I just got. There's another Parasol verde back there. This one is getting better light. So it's getting very good variegations. And more jungle cacti. This is the jungle cacti area. This is the fishbone cactus. There's a Discadia here. There's a, what do you call this? Spanish moss, which I'm going to propagate. I need to separate these. I'll make a video on that probably. But this is super easy to propagate and care for. Peperomia hope is doing so well back here. This is my mama plant. I actually took many cuttings from this already. More jungle cacti. There's some Ripsalis back here. And I'm definitely going to do a video on it. This is such a beautiful plant that is underrated. And I can't believe I ignored this. I haven't checked up on these guys in so long, but they're doing quite well here. They're very easy and fun to propagate actually back there. And then here's that Anthurium viterifolium, another one from our video. There's some maidenhair fern down here, which I never forget to water because this is my heavy watering area. So yeah, it's doing quite well. It's put out all these beautiful fronds all over the place. The ferns. There are some, what is this? Calathea white fusion here. I've just propagated these. This was actually in our video, and look at this cute little baby one. And I have propagated from that, from those plants one more time. So that's why I have so many pots of these. And this is what the reverted one looks like. And there's some ferns here. I don't know the names of all these ferns, but they're quite beautiful. So all the ferns are sitting back here where they're watered every day, and there's a lot of these Stromanthe triostars. They really love it here. They love being around these plants. They love that ambient humidity. Same with the Calathea white fusion. They just really like it, being grouped with other plants. If I have it alone on a table or by itself, it will give me those crispy leaves. So yeah, this is doing quite well. More ferns that I believe going to become a tree fern someday. It's looking very big. And this is a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. Of course, when you have them grown outdoors, you're going to have all these leaves that are not perfect. Actually, this is the tetrasperma. This is the Rhaphidophora pertusa, if I'm not wrong. These are siblings, different species though. And obviously the tetrasperma is winning the race. It's much, much higher. They're such fast growers, you guys. And they look so beautiful back here. And yeah, the pertusa is very nice too. We have another specimen that we're going to see later that is much, much bigger. There's a really beautiful fern here that I mounted. I lost most of its foliage because I got it as a rescue, but the new foliage is pretty. And here's another fern that I kind of rescued. I have to prune this very often, but it is very beautiful, very common fern and easy to care for. I just hose it down every day. And this is a golden pothos. I kind of neglect these because these are such common plants. I'm so sorry. Back there, we did the back of this shelf before, but this is again the Syngonium area. There's a Syngonium moonshine. I can't remember what this one is. Star something. Wendlanii. I believe this is the Apidistra. I can't remember right now. It's very pretty. So it gets a little bit of direct sunlight, as you can see from here. Some Zippoliniums. These are Amidriums. More crystallinums, they're kind of everywhere. This is an orchid. That's that Clarinervium from the front. I guess it's not that bad looking from the front. It just have smaller leaves, that's all. Maybe it needs more light. And then here's what the begonia corner looks like from the front, from when you visit it. This is the Brevirimosa, which is one of my faves. It's not doing so well here. I kind of neglected it, but it is growing quite well. If it's got a root system, yeah, you can see that it's growing really well. So I can cut this and it was just gonna promote a lot of branching out from below. I may do that after I move. And more of these beautiful begonias. And this is one that I believe likes a little bit more higher light, because it's gotten so leggy, and that's usually a sign that they're looking for more light. And it's doing well now because it's getting a little bit of direct sunlight now, so it's growing well. And this one's about to flower. Look at how pretty this is. Very beautiful begonia. I believe this was a gift. I was buying a few plants and this just came with it. And down here we have an orchid. I'm not sure what this one is. There's a vanilla orchid, a variegated vanilla orchid, sorry, back there. and that's where the pot starts. So I always have to make sure I water this right here. Sometimes I forget. This is also another orchid. I can't remember the species name, but it is quite pretty. It did flower for me one time. And this is a beautiful plant. I can't remember the name. I hopefully can find it and insert that on the screen. But this looks like crocodile pattern. Very pretty. And this is also a rescue. This is from one of my plant haul videos that you may see soon. Some Nervilias are not doing well, struggling. This may not make it. Some Homalomina Army. This is also not doing well. It just started yellowing like crazy. So it's probably got root rot. But because this was grown from a stump and it grew back into this, so if I just chop the whole thing off, I may be able to rescue it. I may do that later with when I move. This is a Peperomia corner, so Peperomia obtusifolia variegata. So that's a Polybotrya parent plant. I have many cuttings rooting away. It's also a parent plant. And Clusifolia, they look really beautiful when they're sun stressed like this. If you keep them in lower light, they'll give you green leaves. If you give them some direct light, they'll give you this beautiful, beautiful veins, and they'll grow much faster too in higher light. Some Peperomia turboensis. I've got so many pots of these just from the one that I got. They are so easy to propagate. Very, very beautiful Peperomia, and they make really good hanging basket as well. There's a Peperomia metallica. That's the mother plant. This is a Scindapsus trubii moonlight. The Scindapsus trubii dark form. These are Anthuriums zipilaniums that are grown from wet sticks, and I believe it was sold to me as a peace lily, but I think this is probably I don't know, maybe an Agzonema. That's what I'm guessing. I'm not sure, but this died completely. So this is grown back from a stump. Epipremnum skeleton keys. This is, I believe, the top cuttings. Look at how fat this one is with a little tail. They all look so different. I really love this plant quite a lot. There's some Homalomina black here. That's what it's sold to me as. I think I may have been overwatering this a bit. It's starting to get a little yellowing leaves. So this area actually gets a lot more direct sunlight, but because of the changing seasons, the sun is actually behind this rack, which is why actually when that happens, I should technically have watered the plants less, but I didn't. So sue me. Yeah, this is another Homalomina. This is the Homalomina red or silver red. I can't remember the name, but it is quite beautiful. And then one thing that I really like about the Anthuriums zipilaniums is that they put out these runners, and the runners would appear everywhere. It will just sprout out all over the place. And I really like that about plants when they kind of overstay their welcome. Is that what's the right word for it? If they just kind of unmanageable, if you know what I mean, but beautifully unmanageable. All right, so this corner, oh my God, this is my problem corner. In fact, this whole wall is problem because they rain down all these dead leaves that give me those southern blight fungus. So all these plants have to be treated with fungicide often, and I do have a lot of diebacks, but yeah, I have to continuously treat them. So these are all my Epipremnum or pothos rather, or that's a philodendron. So yeah, there's a Trubii moonlight that's growing upwards. There's a Pothos and Joy. I've got so many of these and I propagated them, but nobody wants to buy these for some reason. I don't know why. Can someone tell me what's up with that? Like, I try to sell them at a very, 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 very low price, and yet nobody wants them. So yeah, let me know what's wrong with this plant. Like, do you not like it, or this is a beautiful, I can't remember the name, but in Indonesia we call it ekor tupai. This is also a fern. That is a beautiful philodendron hyderaceum. I believe this should be a Brazil because it's starting to give me some more of that stripe, but I did lose some of the stripes back here. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that. There's a Syngonium podophyllum variegata, some golden pothos back there. This is a pothos mandula. We've got a lot of these propagating away, but look at how beautiful they are. I really love how the variegation looks. This is very, very slow growing. And oh my God, I just saw this. This is quite wild. This is a Scindapsus trubii moonlight. I've got so many of these, by the way, all over the place. But this is quite beautiful, hanging down here like this. And some marble queen. This is also very underrated pothos. I really love how they look. Very nice. There's a pineapple back there. There's some Monstera deliciosa. This is actually too bright for them. They should not be getting this much direct sunlight. But there we go. It's doing all right, I guess. These are some Syngonium podophyllum. There is a jungle cactus back here. I can't remember the name, but these are the ones with the chubby leaves. And there's a Syngonium macrophyllum frosted heart back here with a moss pole. There's a massive Anthurium crystallinum back here. More marble queen pothos back there. There's a philodendron gabby or cream splash. People mislabel them as gabby, but they're in fact the cream splash or Rio. This is actually quite underrated. This is the Epipremnum amplissimum, the green form. They actually have these really beautiful long leaves, and that's one of the parent plants actually up there. But it's a little bit damaged, but they do grow upwards like this, up wall and trees. So they're quite pretty. They come also in the silver form and the variegated, which I will show you in a little bit. There's a strawberry begonia. It's not a begonia, technically speaking. These are more of those cream splash philodendron plants. These are the bigger pots. These are all the cuttings that grew into these. I've got so many pots of these, and by the way, I did sell them, and I do sell them, and they have such a high return of investment because these guys are so expensive now that, you know, I actually made quite a bit of profit from them. Not to say that you should buy them and make profits out of them. I'm just sharing my story. However relationship that you have with the plants, it's great. But of course, I'm going to use those money into good use, and don't worry about that. I'm not going to buy expensive shoes and bags. But yeah, I'm going to be buying more plants, rescuing more plants with this money. So if you're in Indonesia, please buy my plants. And these are quite beautiful. And I believe that they're going to one day take over the Philodendron Brazil as the main dominant species. Yeah, that's a Syngonium variegated, that's yellow variegated, there's an Adansonia back here. We've got so many of the Adansonias. I sold most, but I stopped propagating them because they just don't fetch a good price when you sell them. And I've got just so many of these. It's just ridiculous. So I stopped. I had to stop myself from propagating these. But these are fun to propagate and to care for, I must say. Some Peperomia obtusifolia. This is baby Kadaka fern. I really hate this plant. I can't remember the name of these, but they came really beautiful. They love full sun, and it will give you these beautiful pink leaves. But then eventually they become scraggly and bald like this. So this is the one that a lot of people ask. This is the, I can't remember the deal. I'm gonna insert that on the screen. Something maculata variegata with the little bulbs in the middle. But this is one of my most asked plant when I post it. People seem to like that one. Some Hoya macrophylla variegata. This is just one small cutting. These are our string of dolphins. It's not looking so well. I kind of neglected here. I should have actually propagated them. I may have to even add some fertilizer because I see all these bare stems. So this is the perfect time to just clip this, stick it back into the soil, and when you clip them, the lower nodes, sorry, there's a fly on my finger. When you clip them, the lower nodes will, like this one here, it will activate, it will put out a new branch entirely. So it's good to prune them often and propagate them. There's some Peperomia incana back there, baby Peperomia hope, baby Tradescantia. I just basically took a hard prune from these, and it's going to be branching out a lot from below. This is going to become a beautiful and full pot over time. There's more Peperomia hopes that are just propagating away. I enjoy propagating these. They're one of the slow growing plants, but their baby leaves are just so rewarding. They're just so pretty. So yeah, there's some more plants down here. This is the Scindapsus trubii dark form. These are the slowest to propagate and slowest to grow. And this has been like this for about 9 months. So that's 9 months worth of propagation. That's super slow, you guys. There's some more back there. I don't want to give this too much light because they will bleach out a bit. And this is fallen. This is a Syngonium podophyllum variegata. This is actually my dad's plant. This is an Alocasia Lauterbachia, if I'm not wrong. But this got spider mites. I don't know if you can see from him. I'm kind of treating it right now. So there's a Peperomia argyria back there. A lot of them propagating away. Some jungle cacti here. That's the Scindapsus argyrius back there. I'm propagating a lot of these because they're so hard to find here. So hopefully I'll be able to have these on sale sometime soon. Tradescantia, I can't remember the variety of these. These are the green form. There's another Tradescantia back here. This is a little bit different, smaller leaves. This is not as fuzzy as the one before, but yeah, that's some ferns here. This is Tradescantia zebrina. I actually threw away the parent plant because there were so many of them. They were all balding and leggy, and there's just too much of them. So I just propagated small pot and threw away the main pot. But they're quite beautiful, as you can see in a landscape. So Yeah, there's some beautiful ferns here. There's a beautiful fern that I really love here. There's Susie Wong, and some micans here, which I'm going to be propagating soon. This is so massy right now. And this is the Ficus Audrey. I love this, and this has got really fuzzy leaves. I know you can't really feel from here, but this is a really beautiful ficus. Loves direct sunlight, but not full sun. I think it may burn in full sun. Look at how, I love the texture right there. This is so beautiful. It's a leaf on leaf. But this is branching out really well. I actually struggled with this plant. I don't know if you saw my earlier videos, that it was attacked by so many types of pests. After treating them though, this really burst into life. So I'm really glad to see all these branching out. I believe the pests are the reason why these are branching out in the first place, because when the plant is stressed out, it just tells every node to just activate. Like, guys, we gotta be in full survival mode. So this is what it's doing. And actually for these, I can just cut them off and propagate all these, and they'll turn into their own plants. So this is what I'm gonna do at some point. I see ants here, which means that there's definitely some pests happening here. So I'm gonna have to treat this soon. And then there's a small fiddle leaf fig here. I'm not probably gonna bring this with me when I move, only because they're such slow growers. They take up so much space, and they're super overrated. I don't know, I'm over them, sorry. And this wall here usually gets direct sunlight at a different season, but right now it's not getting direct sunlight at all, which is why it's safe to put some of these plants here. So these are more Peperomia argyrias, more Hoyas, and more of that mealybug that we saw earlier. Hang on, this is not focusing. Yeah, and then some more begonias. Oh my god, I'm so messy, you guys. I've got plants just kind of everywhere. This is a Hoya bella. We've got a lot more Hoya bellas elsewhere. This is a Hoya obovata splash. And this is really pretty. I can't remember what this is. Help me, I don't remember my plants. I've got too many plants. And this one is a Hoya MA07. It's really pretty though, if you look at the leaves up close. It's really, really pretty. It's got dark black rim on it. Oh my gosh. I need to sort out my plant collection, and so I can enjoy them more, I can see them more often. And these are just hanging really beautifully here somehow. Yeah, it's going up through the grill here, so I'm gonna have to cut these and propagate them at some point before I move. Here are some Hoya calistophylla that are propagating away. They're all doing well. They actually propagate quite easily. And these are the baby leaves. I just stuck them right into my arid potting mix and just kind of water it whenever I remember to. They're very forgiving. And this is the Aglaonema pictum tricolor. There's a video coming up on these. We'll have so many plants out of these. These are also Aglaonema pictum tricolors. These are all started from one plant about 18 months ago. So yeah, there's a video on that. This is the Hoya lacunosa corner. Hoya lacunosas are very fast growing. If you give them direct light, they can sun stress and become this beautiful pink leaves. They come with white or pink flowers, so make sure you choose your flowers before you buy them. But they have these really beautiful leaves, and they're unstoppable. They grow really, really fast, and they propagate so easily. This is the Hoya that we saw earlier. I took a few cuttings, which the bugs are eating. Hello, do you like it? How do you like that? And then, yeah, there's some more here. Oh my god, there's just so many of them. Look at that. And this is that same Hoya. I really need to know what species this is, but it's looking beautiful. This one is a Sigillatus. Very pretty but very slow growing Hoya. This is Philodendron Brazil. This was actually the point in time in which it was getting direct sunlight, because as I mentioned earlier, this area gets direct sunlight. And look at how bleached out the leaves look. So this plant actually really enjoys a little bit of direct sunlight, but too much and you will bleach them. They'll become this light green color. And when you have this bright indirect light like we have now, with maybe a touch of direct sunlight, it will give you a more balanced variegation. So these guys do respond really well to light, and just make sure you control yourself. Don't give them too much, but don't give them too low of a light. And you can of course move them around depending on the variegation level that you want. And here's a Vanda orchid. They bloomed really beautiful for a long time. I would believe the blooms was about 3 to 4 months. Really, really showy. I love this plant a lot. It's very easy to care for. They actually like full sun, and I just miss them every day. And this has attached itself to the wall. I can't really remove it now. Yeah, so I just miss this whole thing, and I do fertilize it with all my other orchids at the same time. And yeah, very easy to care for in general. There's another orchid here that is being mounted. I can't remember the name. This is a Vanda Mini, if I'm not wrong. And then there's a Dischidia ovada that is growing up there. Down here we've got that Ficus burgundy, Ficus elastica, that we had a video on. This is one of the plants that we didn't propagate. This is my favorite begonia. This is the Begonia Manau. Look at that. That is pretty. So this is the parent plant. I actually chopped the whole thing off and propagated all the foliage. And then this is what grew out of it. It's gonna bush out from here. And this is my neglected corner. Neglected corner. There's a Pischia back here. There's a beautiful begonia, silver. I don't know what the name of this begonia is. Back there, there's a cutting. And of course, there's duplicates for all these plants. This is a Rhaphidophora. This is a Rhaphidophora baby. This is a Epipremnum pinnatum variegata that was grown from wet sticks and not allowed to climb up. So they do trail really beautifully, as you can see here. But it's lost its variegation, maybe because it's not bright enough. But some of them are still variegated. But imagine if they had all these variegation and you allow them to trail down. They're quite pretty, you guys. And that's the same plant that grows up a moss pole, and you get bigger and bigger split leaves. So both of these are actually nice. I like both of them. So yeah, if you have this plant, definitely do propagate them and see if you can grow them in both methods. This is the Philodendron microspictum. Really love the rubbery leaves and the classic heart-shaped leaves. They can get pretty big, like maybe like palm-sized big. But yeah, these are more succulent like philodendrons. They don't ask for much. And this is a Philodendron melanochrysum from our melanochrysum video. These are all the cuttings. They're not the easiest to propagate. This one we have rotted. Hang on. They're not the easiest to propagate in my experience. Yeah. Alright, so that is an Epipremnum pinnatum that's not variegated. It's just starting to climb up the wall from a moss pole here. I got this as a free plant. This is a Monstera deliciosa. I have a video on this that I'm filming. This is actually a propagate. This is the top cutting from it. Look at how beautiful the new leaf is. Really enjoy having these guys around. There's a Calathea ornata back there. They really appreciate low light. There's peace lily. There's a more Calathea white. I can't remember the name of this. Silver plate, sorry. Yeah, and this was only 2 or 3 leaves when I got it, and it just grew profusely. This is a Philodendron lanette. A beautiful palm here that was also a rescue. It died into a complete stump. This one I have to save soon because the stem rotted off. I believe this is a Dieffenbachia. So I'm gonna have to cut it here and propagate it. Yeah, when I move, because I don't have, this whole thing was growing in this big pot and that's all left of it. So yeah, the pot is basically useless now. Some Boston ferns. This is a really beautiful Anthurium, and it is I believe this is the Anthurium safari. Yeah, it's got this really beautiful red striped flower. Syngonium and Calathea. This is a Anthurium hybrid. I think it's got pests for sure. I see some things on here. The way that I know that there's pests is because look at the leaf here. It's got a lot of bite marks. And there was an alocasia living right there that was infested with spider mites. So I'm guessing the spider mites did spread around this area, and I have to treat this soon. A Pischia, very pretty. I should wash my hands before. Hang on, I'll be right back. And I'm back. Sorry, this is the Pischia. I love beautiful, shiny foliage, and they just like to clamber all over the place. They make really good hanging basket, but also they can kind of become a really beautiful canopy plant that just clambers on its own, like to find its own way. This is a Maranta kirchoviana. This is a Tenanti. I can't remember the name of this Thai beauty, if I'm not wrong. Don't call me that, but this is a variegated, and I am propagating these. So these are all individual pots. Some Aglaonemas back here. Really love the leaves, but this is not doing well. I may have to take this out and rescue them one by one because this is not clearly happy in here. Some more Epischia back here. Look at how pretty they are. And this is a Philodendron Florida Ghost, and they have gotten massive. But this one's starting to flower too. Look at that. I should technically nip off this flower, but you know what? I'm just gonna watch and see what happens. But this is a massive pot. I did show this in my balcony tour video about a year ago, and it's just 4 little leaves, and now it's given me so much. They're actually very fast to grow once it's established. They're not the fastest to propagate, but definitely fast growing once it's established. So that's that. There's some begonias here. This is also becoming one of my favorite begonias. They can have these massive leaves. We'll see them indoors later. I have some really beautiful specimen of this. This is, I believe, the begonia lady fingers, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's pretty. I got them in a big pot like this. And it was only a few tiny clumps, but now it's grown pretty big. So in this sense, I kind of appreciate the big pot that it came in. But not all the plants can get so big when I get them in big pots. Sometimes the plants stay very small, so I always want to repot them into a smaller pot. But in this case, I'm just going to leave it as it is. These are some Epipremnum pinnatum variegatus living here. Some of them have crispy leaves here. I don't know what happened. I may have over or underwatered them at some point. I just kind of hose down this area quite a lot. And this is normal for the old leaf to have some yellowing. Don't worry about that. But yeah, the new leaves at least are healthy. So I have a feeling this may be overwatered, or maybe it's just not getting enough light. So it's not really drinking the water that it's been given. And this is another one of those. But the new leaves are quite beautiful. And anyways, I have a feeling these guys, I'm just going to be propagating them later anyways. And then there's the Philodendron 69686 here. This is the parent plant. Let's put out a new vine here. I did propagated a lot of these. They're actually not easy to propagate, you guys. The one that I propagated, and I'm sorry to say, I actually sold one of the cuttings. It's rooted in moss, and then I moved it into aerite potting mix, and I saw that it grew a new growth point, so I sold it. But the receiver who got it unpotted it and saw that it was going through root rot, and I felt so bad. I refunded the money immediately, but that guy was so mad. I don't know. I offered to send him another plant for free on the house, but he never got back to me, so sorry. But yeah, these guys, I have a feeling they're not that easy to propagate. Yeah, which is why they also carry quite a bit of a hefty price. This plant wall here, we did 2 videos of, so feel free to check those videos out from before. So I'm going to go really quickly because I don't want to repeat myself here. A lot of things have actually just grown bigger since our last video. This is the Syngonium, Podophyllum variegata. It's just kind of clamoring over each other. And there's that Scindapsus pictus that's also doing really well here. It's become really, I don't know what you call this. They're just vining around the forest floor. There's the Philodendron Marx back here. It's quite big, actually. Hang on, let me see if I can show it. It's actually quite big, but the moss pole actually has fallen forward, so I may have to rescue that at some point. And this beautiful big Monstera, I believe this is not the Deliciosa. Let me see. Yeah, it's not the Deliciosa. It doesn't have the frills on the petals. So this is the Borzigiana, which is a different form of the Monstera, and it cannot get big. Look at how cute the new leaf is. Hello. And then there's the Maranta Leuconoria. These are getting expensive these days. Quite pretty. I really love these guys. They like low light. And this is the Calathea conchina, Spathiphyllum. This is the Anthurium veitchii hybrid that we saw earlier. I took many leaves from them. As you can see, this is the parent plant and it's just recovering. This is not doing well, but it's put out these cool leaves. This is another one, and don't mind the size. Even though it's small like right now, this will expand in size as it hardens and it will become like big, like this big. And one of the leaves that I cut off is actually really huge, so they can get enormous. And these are some Calatheas back here. They're doing quite well. I just did a Calathea videos, so feel free to watch that if you want to learn more about Calatheas. I'm not gonna delve into that too much today. And this is the begonia. This is a bit struggling. This was actually from our video. We had a begonia maculata video that's one of my best watched videos actually. But this is not doing well. I think I kind of ignored it. I haven't repotted or I haven't checked the roots ever. So this is not doing well. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just move it and I'm going to chop up the leaves and start over, because this is going to give me so many plant materials, and just not repotted this ever. As you can see, it may be really disgusting down there. I'm so sorry. This is what happens when you have too many plants. And I really want to bring your attention to this Rhaphidophora pertusa, which I promised to show you earlier. So these are the relatives to the Tetrasperma, and as you can see, there are many similarities with the Tetrasperma, but they can get enormous. In fact, I have a feeling they can probably get bigger than this. And they really love to be able to climb onto walls and such. So yeah, definitely do give your Rhaphidophora something to climb on. There's some more begonias. We did propagate a lot of these back there in the nursery area. It's the maculata. So not much to see here. This is a beautiful Philodendron mayoi. This did not grow at all for almost a year. So what I did was I just threw fertilizer at it and I threw pesticides at it, and then it became this. This is all within like the last 4 months, 3 to 4 months, that it grew into this massive clump. So I'm gonna be, of course, propagating these again. This is actually very beautiful. Imagine that in like a landscape setting. This is a really beautiful philodendron. I want to have many more of these, and this is actually very affordable too. And these are probably what I would call the discount elegans, because the philodendron elegans cost 10 times the price of this, but it is beautiful nonetheless. So some Calathea, I believe this is Cynthia, if I'm not wrong. Alocasia amazonica, this is just growing and growing. And from these little specks here, I can feel that there's going to be spider mites back there. Probably spider mites. I don't know. I haven't seen, I see something here that's moving, but I haven't seen spider mites yet. Oh yeah, there's something. Look at that. There's definitely pests. Alocasias are very, very prone to pests, you guys. So I have not treated this in a long time, to be fair, and I should. So when I move, I'm going to have to make sure that I treat everything that I'm moving. And this is putting out flowers too. Technically speaking, you should cut off the flowers so that they can focus all this energy on the leaves instead, but I haven't got time to do that, you guys, so I'm just gonna let it be. This is not doing well. Calathea zebrina, you're not meant to see that, but I haven't figured out what's wrong with it. I just haven't had the time, but a lot of the other zebrinas are doing quite well. Some Aglaonema, I can't remember, Jaipang Suksum, if I'm not wrong. I say that with a Cantonese accent, I don't know why. And that's Peperomia, I can't remember the name. This is a very common trailing peperomia, easy to grow. Scandens, sorry, this is Peperomia scandens variegata. Very, very pretty, easy to grow, and very affordable peperomia. Some Aglaonema Donna Carmen, very, very pretty, and one of the most affordable Aglaonemas. These are probably less than $1 US, maybe $2 at the most. This is the Aglaonema rotundum from Sumatra. I really love. Sorry about all these hard water stains, it looks so disgusting. But normally it would have these dark leaves with this beautiful fuchsia stripes, and it likes a little bit of a medium to lower light. But yeah, this is not the best specimen, I guess, to show you. But yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about the hard water stains. And this is the Calathea aurifolia that we brought back to life. And it's doing quite okay. I guess there's so many little fungus gnats or flies flying around. Hello. And then this is a Dieffenbachia, what's the name for it? Oh my gosh, I can't remember right now. But I just basically chopped the top off and just put it into soil, and it's been like this for about 2 months. Let me yank it out, hang on. Yeah, it's rooted. Don't try this at home, but yeah, this is the one way they can know if your cuttings have rooted in there. And let me look at the leaves. I suspect there may be a bit of a pest issue as well. I see something. Yeah, sometimes you can tell from the front when a plant is in bad shape. So yeah, if you've watched my previous few videos where I give you an update, you know that my life is pretty terrible right now. I'm going through so much transitions, businesses are booming. I will start hiring gardeners. I promise you, I'll hire people as soon as I make some money, and I will take better care of my plants. This is that Epipremnum and Placimum that we saw earlier that were climbing up walls. But if you don't let them climb up walls, they can become this beautiful rosette type plant. They can take low light, they can take a little bit of direct sunlight. So this is a very easy plant to care for. Good for landscaping, good for indoors. This is a struggling Dieffenbachia. I meant to save it. Oh, this is completely, I guess I need to propagate this right away. I'm gonna cut the top off. yeah, this is my next project, I guess. But I'm so busy, you guys. I have so much to do. Oh my god. Okay, I need to stop binding. This is the Maranta Kirchoviana. These are all cuttings just stuck straight into my forest floor potting mix. Oh, and this is the Philodendron Birkin parent plant, and that from our Philodendron Birkin video, and it's doing really well. I think something's wrong with it because the leaves keep getting smaller and smaller, so this is pretty small for the leaves. I remember when I checked up on this about a few months ago, when I actually moved it here about 2 to 3 months ago. I think I know why. I think this is just not getting enough light. Maybe it's too low light for it. So I can see now that the petioles are getting long. They're etiolating. They're trying to reach out to the light, and the new leaves are smaller. So I need to give this better light actually, and maybe a little bit of nutrients and also pest control. Because sometimes when you give plants pest control, because there may be mealybugs and stuff in those potting mix, they will recover really well. I think this is actually ready for propagation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to care for it first, nourish it back to health, and then in a few months I'll be chopping this up. Alright, so moving on, guys, let's come up here where this is more of a full sun or really strong direct sunlight area. There's a Vanda orchid here that I just moved here because the sun is favoring this area right now. And there's Hoya sunrise, there's 2 of them. I need to make more cuttings of them because they sold so fast. And yeah, I really regret selling the cuttings that I had. I wish I had more of these. So I'm gonna grow these out. And then there's a Anthurium magnificum here. We're doing a video on these and they grow big so fast. This was just a stump about 6 months ago. So it grew into this, which is great. That's bird poop right there, or bat poop, I'm not sure. There's more Syngonium and Calathea here. I really love them. They're quite beautiful everywhere. This is, I believe, pandan. There's a Epipremnum amplissimum silver right here. It's climbing up this moss pole here, or coconut quarb pole. Looking really pretty. And what else is there? This is a stray plant that I bought from a nursery, but apparently this is a weed, an invasive species. This used to be a sunflower, but it died very quickly. And up here another Vanda orchid. This one's a baby, but it's doing well now. It's starting to put out new growth. It did nothing because I put it in low light before. So yeah, there's some Hoya Bertonii here. Really beautiful color on the foliage. And this is another one. This is the Hoya Rosita. Very pretty. Look at this sun stressing. So these are getting really good direct sunlight. There's some rosemaries here. These are some Euphorbia neorubellum. I did a video on these and they're putting out these bulbs. Very cute. And then there's the spider plant here that's not doing so well. I really love these flowers. These are coleus flowers, which we're going to look at. So these are all coleus, by the way, and down there, they're all different species of coleus. I got them as cuttings and rooted them in water. And literally all of them took. They're so easy to propagate. They have such strong will to live. I really appreciate these plants. They're really pretty. They love full sun. They love frequent watering. They're very thirsty plants because they're going to drink up their water very quickly when they're getting full sun. They're going to give you bright foliage. It's just very fast growing plants. And one of the tips to growing them would be to keep pruning them because they get long and leggy with a single stalk. And that's usually not a very good look. So yeah, look at this one. This is extremely beautiful. They're all beautiful in their own right. And yes, they all do flower like this. Like this one's also flowering a little bit. So they're very spectacular plants. These are Persian shields that I have in my video. These are all propagated from there. They also really like direct sunlight. And this one should be facing here. Okay, there. Look at how many of them we have now from just one. I had one plant about a year ago and now I have all these. Very pretty plant. Actually, very thirsty plants as well. So I do hose this down once or twice a day. Back there, I believe these are, I don't know what flowering plant this is, but I'm not good at flowering plants. I keep killing them. So maybe we're not all good at some things, right? Yeah, this is a Excacheria cochichinensis. I really love pronouncing it. I think I've shown you this in my last video. It is a little bit on the dry side. It's very crispy, actually. I may not have watered this deep enough this morning, but anyways, that's lavender. I really love this one. It smells so good, and I believe it's a lavender gold creek, if I'm not wrong. I do need to propagate this. This is getting very leggy. So yeah, lavender. That is rosemary, and this is I want to say thyme. Wait, hang on. What is this? Basil. What am I talking about? Basil, yeah. And that is the red maple hibiscus. They do flower very profusely. These are all flowers, spent flower buds, and they flower really beautifully, but usually in the mornings, like 4 or 5 a.m., and the flower would wilt by I would say 8 or 9 a.m. So you don't really get to catch the flowering stage very often, but they do flower all year round very profusely. So this is a very cute plant to have. And then this is a marigold, which I'm killing as well. I don't know, man. I'm just not so good. Maybe I just don't have enough sunlight to keep these alive. I will figure these out someday, but that day is not today. Here is an epipremnum golden poto. So we're doing a video on this. I'm trying to train this so that it becomes big, but it's not really doing its thing. So I'm guessing this pot may be a little bit too root bound for it, and there may be mealybugs in there because I haven't treated this for pests. So I'm gonna fix that another time. Some Dieffenbachia reflector there. I guess that Dieffenbachia that we saw earlier, that wasn't a reflector because this is the reflector. I'm so sorry. So there was another Dieffenbachia. There's there's another one down there. And these are all propagating away. Look at the babies. Oh my gosh, I really love Aglaonemas and Dieffenbachias. They're so cool. These are, what do you call it? Philodendron gloriosums. This one, the leaf died off, but it's putting out a new leaf. They're very easy to propagate, which is why they're so inexpensive here. These are Dracaena. These are Hoya compacta. Actually, this is very dry. It's probably a very hot day today. I need to water these again, even though I did this morning already. This is one of my favorite plants, the Costus erythrophyllans. They have really beautiful red backs. And yeah, the only issue I have with this plant is that they get these spots. I believe this should be bacterial or fungal spots. And I just don't know how to get rid of them. Like all of them invariably would have these. I do spray fungicide on them once in a while, but this is one of the plants that I really struggle with. Usually fungicide works, but in this case, it doesn't work. So yeah, it is a hot day. Look at how dry this is, and everything's crisping up. So I may have to water this area again. Yeah, with changing season, again, you may have to water your plants less or more, depending on the area. But this area here, the sun is just coming down this way. That's where direct sun is coming. So these plants are getting really, really good light. Yeah, and those gloriosums, more gloriosums. More gloriosums. I really enjoy seeing them. This more Hoya compacta Hindo-rope. This is one of my favorite Hoyas, the Hoya vitellina. They love a bit of direct sunlight, which is why it's here. How dry that is. Oh my god. Hoya croniana, super Eskimo. This is an interesting one. This is a pot of Hoya carnosa, crimson, but an Alocasia cuprea somehow made it here. How cute is that? There are a lot of Hoyas back here. That's a Calistophylla, more Hoya carnosa, crimsons. This area is full of dry leaves. I can't wait to move out, you guys. This area is just a disaster. There's too many dead leaves here. And honest to God, I don't remember what this is. This is probably a Dieffenbachia, but I could be wrong. Yeah, so these are all different types of Hoya. This is, I believe, the Caudata Hoya. There's Aglaonema rotundum, more of them. Some begonia, iron cross, if I'm not wrong, some ferns. There's some begonia back there that fell over. I'm so sorry, let me get you now. This is the begonia brevirimosa, I believe hybrid. This is not doing so well, I think. Maybe because it keeps falling over, and this is pretty dry. So I need to put it somewhere where it can get watered well, because when it's slanted, you don't really catch any water, right? So I'm gonna leave that to rehab for a bit. And worst case scenario, I just cut this, and then some of these nodes should put out new vines. Yeah. Some Aglaonema Diamond Bay. This is the Syngonium Three Kings, if I'm not wrong. They're very, very pretty. Love the variegation on these. They're very, very random. They are actually not expensive, even though they look pretty expensive. There's that begonia that looks like it's got reptile-like skin. I really love this one. This is pretty. And then there's some Schefflera propagating. These are Asia cuprea that are propagating away. We'll see the parent plant later in another table. But this was my experiment just to see if they will grow, and I guess they did, which is great. So a video on that is coming at some point. This is another Dieffenbachia. And let me, hey Gia, hey, Gia, what do you want? Hey, yeah. All right, so back up here, this is actually mother of thousands. If I'm not wrong, Cal and Koei made it into this pot somehow. And then there's some gardenia, which is not doing so well. I'm really bad with flowering plants, you guys. And this is some kind of caladium. This is a coco loba, if I'm not wrong. This is a waru. This is a hibiscus that's variegated. Very, very pretty, but this is pretty slow growing in my care so far. Maybe it is a little bit dry. I don't know. This doesn't feel a bit dry, but I may need to repot this. I haven't repotted this. This feels very limp. Like something's wrong with this plant, obviously. And also, I have a feeling that as a hibiscus, this is probably very pest prone as well. And then there's another one here. I don't know what this is. I can't remember all my plants. Pencil stick cactus is probably overwatered, which is why it's yellowing up. Sorry. And then there's more Scheffleras here, like baby Scheffleras that are propagating away. Very cute. High five. This is Hypoistis, Hypotis, and I struggle with these. Maybe I just don't really care for it enough, but they are pretty easy to put. You can just cut it, and then put it back into the potting mix, and it will grow. That's why it's so bushy, but then it just keeps getting leggy like this. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And more of those Euphorbia neorubellum here with beautiful butt-shaped tubers. And then that's an adenium. It's my only adenium that I have, and I kind of struggle with it. I'm gonna figure them out someday. This is my bunny ear cactus, more coleus here, and then these are my Burlemarks, Philodendron burlemarksii, variegated. And I actually have to separate them because a lot of them were reverting, so I just kept cutting them and selectively potted them up. So these are some of the more variegated ones that are potted separately from those. As you can see, the new leaf is variegated. So with this plant, you may have to keep cutting back the green and just selectively propagate the variegated. But it's also my fault because I did put this in low light, which is why it was reverting. So up here we have some variegated local Adansonii. They're just propagating away. They do get a little bit of direct sunlight. This is the, what is the name again? Cordyline. Very, very pretty plant. And I chopped it up. And then, yeah, propagating it away. And this one looks pretty dead. This is the same, the cordyline. So the leaves are dead. I'm actually supposed to cut it off, but I haven't had time. But it's fine because look at this. The shoots are putting out babies. So that's gonna do fine. That's actually a Alocasia zebrina that is struggling, but it should do well, I think. Here are some Dieffenbachias and Aglaonema wet sticks. Or stumps rather. Some of them already rotted off, but I haven't taken them out of their pots. Some of them hopefully will make it, but I'm filming a video on these. And here are the Anthurium magnificum stumps that have been in here for 9 months. And that's the parent plant right there. And this is the reason why I haven't released that Anthurium magnificum video, because I'm waiting for shoots to emerge from here and nothing has happened. Look at it, it's rooted really well. And I was actually expecting this to put out leaves, but it hasn't. So we're waiting for that before I can release that video. Yeah, there's absolutely no new shoots yet. Frustrating. All right. And last in this area is this thing that I'm trying out. It's a propagation box. So that you can see the humidity is insane in there. But I don't think I like this. This is a disaster. I do open this every other day just to let some air in. And I think a lot of these things are yellowing up, maybe because of overwatering and maybe because there's not enough light coming in here, even though this is getting direct sunlight, but it's going to be diffused. Oh my god, it's so steamy hot right now. So these are some caladiums in here. This is the Aglaonema rotundum that I tried. I do have some that are propagated outside of the box. And look at how nasty that is. Yeah, these are some begonia that are struggling. The siblings are doing really well. So this is not doing well. This is an Alocasia that was stray, but that's actually supposed to be Aglaonema pictum tricolors in here. Let me feel it. Nope, nothing's mush yet, so everything is actually still kind of growing. So maybe I am keeping it a little bit too wet. I'm not sure. These are some Tetraspermas. They're doing so bad. Yeah. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. I don't remember what this is, honestly. It could be a Gloriosum, but I'm not sure. So this is where we have our breakfast, and there are some plants randomly hanging out here. There's a Phalaenopsis orchid that is dying. It was actually really pretty when it was full of flowers. And then there's an Apischia back here, and it used to flower, but it's no longer flowering. I just hang it on the doorknob there. And yeah, it's looking very pretty. I'm growing these both indoors and also some outdoors. I'll show you that later. And they do so much better indoors. The leaves are perfectly beautiful. When they're outdoors, they get a lot of fungus, bacteria, and things like that. There's some random windowsill plants. This is a Dischidia, what is Pneumolaria variegata, very pretty. It's grown in a coconut husk. I don't know if you can see. So it's got that very natural vibe to it, and it's in this tin can. There's a Peperomia crucifolia in these shoes that I got from Amsterdam. Some rosemary propagating away. And this fern is almost like an aquatic plant, I think, because it drinks the water so quickly. I just filled this with water today, and it drank it all up. If I forget even a little bit of watering, it will start losing a few fronds. It is a very beautiful fern, and I got this from one of the plants. It's just a stowaway plant. Look at how pretty they are, and that new growth there. And it did so well. It used to only have 3 or 4 fronds, and now it has more, but it is a very, very thirsty plant. So if you enjoy watering plants, like every day, every hour, and not worry about overwatering, this is the right plant for you. This is a duplicate. I found this in another pot. Yeah, see how dry it is. I filled it up with like this much water actually this morning. And then over here we have some Syngonium. I don't remember what variety this is, but this is also very common, and I do like that they're random here. This is a Trotoscanthia, and these are really beautiful with perfect leaves because they were grown indoors, and I'd never ever get the leaves wet. And this is actually one of my most watched videos for these species care and propagation. If you grow them outside, you may get a little bit of bacteria and fungus spots, especially if it gets rained on. But look at how beautiful and shiny they are over here. So this is the one plant that I would say does well indoors. It does need bright light. And I would just squirt water in here every day. This is a very fast draining forest floor potting mix. I just squirt water in here every morning, fertilize it lightly. Sorry, and this is grown in a double pot. This is in a fruit can, and there's a plastic pot in there. I don't know if I want. Yeah, I'm not gonna struggle with that now, but there's a plastic pot in there. And then there's a Peperomia Hope here as well. It's doing really well. I also water this every day because it is so root bound in there, and there's a lot of plant material and a little bit of soil. So yeah, this is a pretty plant corner because none of my plants outside look this perfect. So on this tree here, there's a Dracaena white aspen that I'm going to have a video on. There's some bromeliads here, and this is my pride and joy. This is a Hoya carnosa crimson princess. It does really well when grown on a tree. It started out growing really slowly, and then it just exploded in growth very quickly. So this took about, I don't know, a year and a half to get to this size. And then there's a weird, hang on, let me look at this. I just noticed something. This is a Hoya australis, not the Lisa, but the regular australis. It hasn't really flowered for me, but they do give me a lot of peduncles. I don't know why. But this is doing something strange here. It's trying to be a Hoya compacta. This is wild indeed, look at that. And here we have a pot of, this is very dry, this is a Hoya macrophylla variegata, and one of the leaves actually, because when you put them, release them by a tree, it's just going to start vining. And look at how big this one leaf is. So pretty. So yeah, this is actually one of my favorite Hoyas. Right, so there's a pit over here and it gets really good light. There's a tree right above it, but then that's east. So it does get like a little bit of direct sunlight every day. So let's just get started. I'm just going to start pointing because there's no way I can get down here. So there's a variegated monstera there. That's the top cutting philodendron burlemarks. And there are some variegated Boston fern. I showed that in my variegated plants video. And I actually propagated it. So these are all individual pots of them. So they'll be on sale whenever they're ready. And then regular Boston fern, some Anthurium crystallinums. That is a beautiful fern. Hang on, let me get up close to it actually. It is a beautiful fern that I'm also propagating away. I'm going to insert the name on the screen. Hang on. I need to do this plant justice because it is just so pretty up close. Look at that. It's got these like variegated type patterns, and they do revert to all green if you put them in lower light. But the thing with these ferns is that you do need to prune them often. That's the only thing, but they do propagate well, and they do grow rather slowly. So yeah, I've sold quite a few of these. These are one of the best-selling ferns. There are some spider plants, bonny spider plants that are curly. Really love those. And that's the variegated Boston fern up close. There's a gloriosum here. I believe I took a top cutting of that. I'm not sure, which is why it's a little bit like limping over there. And here is the Sansevieria that we did. I did a video to show you how I prepare my plants for the rainy day, and this is one of the ways. And that is basically me moving this Sansevieria into leca, full leca and terracotta pot, and watering it every day because it dries up so fast, and they love it. It's been doing really well here for about 8 months. There's another pink princess here. Hopefully this is going to be a pink leaf. I'm not sure, but it's only got one pink leaf so far down there. And then this is a ring of fire. It's a philodendron. I'm so sorry I have to show you from up top, but it is very pretty. I'm loving all these variegations. Philodendron gloriosum. Here's a really big fern. Let me try to get it out. This is a footed fern, and one of my first. I'm going to be doing a propagation video on these at some point. Oh my god. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Okay. This is very top heavy. That's why I'm trying to film with one hand. All right. Now we got it. So there's a bird nest fern, and that is actually, what do you call this? Hijacked this way in there, but the real star here is this footed fern. I don't really know exactly the species, but it's grown a lot. It was so much smaller before. It was one of my first plants. Look at how pretty those feet. It looks like Gia's feet. So I heard that you can just propagate them by cutting it like this, and then just putting that on the topsoil, and that might root. But I don't know. I'm gonna give it a try. If you happen to know how to propagate these beautiful ferns, do let me know. Look at how nice this is. Very pretty. So imagine if you had like a big living room and just having this as a statement piece in the middle. It would be such a beautiful look. They love direct sunlight, but not too much, like not full sun. But they do well when it's really bright and you water them often, never ever let them dry out. So that's a bit of a surprise actually. Hello. I haven't seen this in a long time. I haven't checked on this guy. So this is one of my variegated Monstera parent plant that I propagated. This is new. Hello. What is this? This is a new leaf. This is big. So I chopped it off right here, and oh my god, I have a secondary branch. This is exciting, and it's variegated too. You can see that the next leaf is going to be variegated here. This is very variegated. The first leaf that this one put out after I cut it is this small, so I was expecting the next leaf to be pretty small too, but now look at that. That is big. And this is probably because there's a lot of root system in there before I cut off all the plants, so it's enough to support a much bigger plant. So very, very happy with this. There's a Sansevieria Dracaena Kirkii, which I really like. Love the pattern on these. And there's a massive Boston fern. But the thing with them is that I think this is outgrown its pot, which is why it's looking so scraggly now. It used to look so pretty before when it was perfect. But look at that. That's outgrown its pot. And I do need to divide it. I need to prune it. But that's another chapter. There's something to do later on. Here is the Camphilia. I can't remember if this is the elegans or the pulchera. There are some more over there of the same species. The reason why I have some out there and some in here is because I wanted to see if the light levels affect their pattern, because I lost the pattern somehow. They actually have some marvelous pattern, or I suspect that another reason is that the leaves will only have the patterns when they become mature. So I don't know, this is such a fast growing plant, so I'm not sure. They just keep putting out leaf after leaf, so I need to wait to see those patterns come back. I will definitely do a video on these soon. This is a Monstera Thai constellation. I killed the top 3 leaves, and they are so slow to grow. They grow one leaf every 4 to 5 months, which is why I was sad that I lost all those 3 leaves. But this is putting out a new fenestrated leaf. Hello. And my dad actually, his gardener, they were painting the ceiling, and now it's got on all of my plants down here. Thankfully it's easy to peel off, but it just takes a lot of time to take it off. There's some Monstera here, and then this is a Philodendron tortum. This is one of my bigger ones. High five. And it just keeps growing and growing. This is so pretty. The newest leaf looks a little bit small though. I have a feeling that I may have to repot this soon. This is probably very pot root bound. There's a Philodendron jungle boogie. This is the non-variegated version of the a ring of fire. There's another smaller tortum, another variegated monstera here. This is the newest leaf. Something pooped on it, I think. And there's some variegated Adansonii, all hanging out here. And there's some more over there. Yeah, this is a Caladium or Lindenia or I can't remember the name, but this has been reclassified, I think. This is another of the philodendron jungle boogie, philodendron black cardinal. They're so prone to fungal spots and also hard water stains. I definitely would love this plant if it's kept indoors, where the water doesn't get on the leaves, but when it's outside, it's just not the best looking plant. So I may restart this plant. This is a stowaway alocasia. I'm not sure what kind of alocasia this is. It came with another pot. This is that fern, that Susie Wong fern. Here's a peace lily. This is one of them's Domino, one of them's the Picasso. I don't know which one is which. And then philodendron burlemarks. This is a philodendron microstictum. Sorry, it's probably very confusing to watch, like from up above. And then there's the Syngonium. These are more Episcias, and I can't remember the name of this species, but this is also one of my most asked plants. It flowers really beautifully over here, and it has this really beautiful silver and blue shine. Seem to like bright in direct light. It burned in direct sunlight. So yeah, and it's got this very beautiful pink underside. They do propagate really well. So I'll be doing an episode on this plant soon, as soon as I can memorize this name. This is a crocodile fern. I got it when it was really small. It was actually in one of my first few nursery plant tours. It only had like 3 to 4 leaves. I'm really glad that I've got so many now, and I'm gonna be cutting this up soon. I'm gonna do a video on these to show you how you propagate it. Here is I believe a Homalomina, but I could be wrong. It could be a Schismatoglotis. I'm not sure. And then here's an Epipremnum skeleton key, and that same blue plant. Epipremnum pinnatum variegata. Let me see, did I get everybody? There's another variegated monstera over there. So when you cut them, the parent plants will branch out and give you many leaves. So this is why I'm never hesitant about propagating my plants. Rhaphidophora, Tetrasperma. Oh, and there's another variegated monstera out there. These are all the parent plants. So the babies are cutting away and propagating away, and they're upstairs. I've sold quite a few this week. I sold like 6 of them, so we'll see some of them later. Variegated banana, and it's heliconia. That will give you some beautiful flowers, but this is still a baby. Here's a scraggly looking string of pearls. I don't know what I have done wrong with it. I don't really check up on this guy often, so this is a plant that you really do need to baby and make sure that it's not overwatered or underwater. I do hose this down lightly every day, but it's in very, very fast draining cacti succulent potting mix, and it's very, very dry, it's bone dry. So I may be a little bit too dried out. I'm not sure because the balls are so skinny and shriveled, but hopefully if I can still salvage this, I will propagate it. This is a really beautiful bromeliad. It just keeps putting out pups after pups. As you can see, there are many clumps in there. Very interesting. I got this in one of my cheap plant haul videos. And yeah, and with bromeliads, they do like a little bit of water down there, if I'm not wrong. In the crown, they do feed from there. But they also have some root system down here that anchors them to the pot. Here is a Dracaena, Song of India. Hope you guys are doing okay in India. I know the situations with COVID is really bad. But this is a really pretty plant, and I really enjoy having it around, and it's always growing. And then this is a Hoya Carnosa Crimson Queen, and I actually kept taking cuttings and sticking it back in there. So it's quite a big pot, and that's Gia right there. She's a variegated dog. She's a mini Dachshund, 14 years old. And yeah, this is, I just feel bad for the little paint splashes on them. Terrible. Okay. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to hire an assistant soon that can help me gently scrape off these paint marks. All right. Hey, Gia, what are you doing? Hey. What's up? What do you want, Gia? Say hi, come on. Say hello. All right, moving on. Here's another pit. And this one actually can climb down, so I'm going to do that. I'm gonna climb in here. So let me start over here. This is can't remember the name. I saved this screenshot so many times, but I just can't remember the name. And that's the same one over there. Oh, so Rhaphidophora decursiva. That's what it is. And look at how beautiful the leaves are. They can get actually very big. I got these as stumps. Look at how thick that main stem is. So this grew out of there. So I got it as stumps and I had to grow the leaves from there. So this is a really pretty plant. That's another one over there hiding. Hello. This is a Philodendron mexicanum. If you give them bright indirect light with a little bit of direct sunlight, the new leaves are gonna be beautiful red. They do put on quite a beautiful show when they're unfurling. Some Philodendron micans. I sold quite a few pots, but they're everywhere. My micans are just randomly everywhere. It's a little bit annoying. I need to get organized. And this is my Scindapsus section. This is the regular Scindapsus pictus, exotica, some Philodendron Brazil, pothos or Epipremnum mandula. These are some baby Philodendron brantianums that are propagating. I sold quite a bit of these. The empty slots are basically sold ones. And oh my god, this is so dangerous. This is like downstairs. I hope I don't fall down there. These are some Scindapsus silver splash. They do change in the sense that if you give them bright, very bright and some direct sunlight, they will be all silver. But if you give them bright indirect light, they will give you more of these green along the leaves. So I quite like the texture. And that's let me see, Scindapsus trubii moonlight. They actually grow really fast, faster than other Scindapsus. There's a lot of yellowed leaves here, and I don't mind that because Scindapsus do shed leaves when they put out new ones. So this is quite a mess here, you guys. This is why my dad is complaining about me because I am too messy. And yeah, let's see. Back here, I think this is the Syngonium erythrophilus. Let me see what else. What else can I notice here that is worth mentioning? These are Philodendron cream splash. They're also all over the place. I don't really know where the pot is for this. There are some here that are propagating away. These are all also Philodendron cream splash. And these are also some of my best-selling plants. They sell for really well. I have a feeling that the prices will go down now because the prices are so ridiculous at the moment. This is a Scindapsus lucens. Let me see if I can identify the pot from where it came from. Where are you? Where are you? Oh my goodness. I think, I don't know, this is another Scindapsus, by the way. I believe this is is it a jade satin? I'm not sure. I'm not the Scindapsus expert here, but I know that I'm collecting them. This one is bone dry. Hello. The leaves are curling. So this is when you know your Scindapsus is thirsty, is when the leaves start becoming limp like this. So yeah, I may have missed watering this when I watered it this morning. Where is that pot? Is this it? Yeah, this could be the pot, sorry. Hang on, no, this is a Epipremnum Cebu Blue. Yes, look at the split here. Not a Scindapsus, but I do have the lucens here somewhere. So yeah, so that's one Scindapsus. This is another Scindapsus. This is one that I just got about a month ago. Really, really pretty. Love the veins on here. I don't really know the title yet. I believe this is the Scindapsus sp Sumatra. Very pretty. It's got like really beautiful lines on it. It kind of reminds me of the Trubii moonlight. Here are some more of the Philodendron cream splash. In case you were wondering why I have so many of them, it's because I got them very early on before they were popular, and I just kept propagating them without knowing that they will one day become popular. So if I were you, I would definitely just propagate everything, because who knows, you may strike a gold mine. You might hit the jackpot. I remember there's also Scindapsus Silver Hero or something. I don't know, man, you guys. This is so messy. I will know better, I think, when I'm moving, because I'm not in the mood to separate these pots right now. Yeah. Let's move on. Sorry, but yeah, there's a lucens somewhere in here, and it does look a lot like the Epipremnum Cebu Blue. It's got this texture, but it is a Scindapsus. So over here, I believe this is an Alocasia watsoniana. There's a lot of Alocasias that I got from rhizomes that are propagating away. These are all the ferns, the Suzy Wongs, Nephrolepsis Suzy Wongs that are propagating away. Also one of the best-selling ones. And this is Philodendron hederaceum lemon lime. Really, really pretty. I liked how they are such an accent color. I haven't really sold these yet. These are very, very common. And let me see if I can jump safely over there. Okay, Calathea mosaica here. I'm doing a video on these. So these are my propagates. And this is a beautiful maidenhair fern. So I just chopped the whole foliage off because it was dying. So this is many times that I've done. You can see from here, I've attempted to grow this many times. They always come back, but somehow if I don't watch out for it, if I miss even a single day of watering it, it will die. So this is a plant that needs constant vigilance. There is a Dracaena over here. It came from a much bigger tree, but I just took a few cuttings, and that tree I think is with my dad now. Philodendron hederaceum, the classic green ones. I actually really like them. Ignore the paint marks on them, but you can see that they come with these beautiful 6-packs on them. If you look at them closely, really like them. Very, very beautiful heart-shaped leaf philodendrons. Some tetraspermas. This is a Monstera Peru. The leaves here, I guess, are getting a little bit old. They're tired. They're yellowing up. Or maybe I might have overwatered it at some point. I'm not sure. But this is an area where I just hose down every day. And there are some Monstera deliciosa babies that are propagating away here. Yeah, and there's some dragon scale here. So, I did find the Scindapsus lucens. I'm not sure if this is a cutting, because I remember I had a much bigger plant. So I might have cut it, and maybe this is just one of the cuttings. I'm not sure. I don't really remember what plants I have propagated. So, yeah, okay. Everything here looks a little bit dry. I guess it's been a very hot day here. So there you go. Now I'm gonna back away here. There are a lot of plants here. Those are the Syngoniums from our Syngonium video. These are some beautiful ferns that I'm just propagating away. These love a little bit of direct sunlight. Never let them dry out. Got them in hanging baskets here. So they're ready to be styled. These are some fluffy ruffle ferns. Also one of my first few videos is the propagation of these. And yeah, these are just propagating away, and that's more of that Nephrolepsis Suzy Wong over there. Let me get you a close-up actually, because they actually look really pretty up close. This is why they're also one of the best-selling ones. The only thing about them is that they do like to tangle into each other, and it's really hard to wrestle them away from one another. And if they get too bushy, they will suffocate itself. So this is a plant that you always need to prune and keep propagating. But this is a really beautiful one. Okay. Bouncy plant. Let's get back to where we were before. There's a Philodendron Brazil here. And as I mentioned earlier, the Brazil may be replaced by the Cream Splash as the dominant strain, because I think people are just so gravitating towards the Philodendron Cream Splash, and this is losing its popularity. But this is still pretty nonetheless. Very pretty variegations. It's just got yellow without the cream white stripes. That's some Syngonium, Macrophyllum, Frosted Hearts. I've got a few pots of these. I sold, I think, one pot recently. And these are from our video as well. We did this, I believe, 3 or 4 months ago. Look at how pretty this is. Oh my goodness. Love it. And there are some Ficus elastica, burgundy, some Ficus larata, bambino here that are propagating away. Spoiler too, you're not meant to see this because there's going to be a video on these. Oh my goodness, I really dread taking you here. This is my succulent corner, and it's my saddest corner. I've actually reshuffled some of them. Some of them died up really bad, so I combined them into one pot when they have died. So this is everybody. I don't know the species name to be exact. I'm so sorry. I'm just going to quickly go through them. I believe this is a Sansevieria Bantel Sensation. This is I can't remember what this is. This is Crassula ovata, I think. One of the most common crassulas, and very easy to care for because I haven't killed it yet, because I'm actually known to be a succulent killer. I'm not very good with them. Yeah, and this gets rained on sometimes, and I try not to water this area where possible, so it kind of gets watered every, I would say, 2 to 3 days, and they're in very, very fast draining cacti and succulent potting mix, so they do dry out really fast. So I don't know why I keep losing them. It could be overwatering still, because I have a habit of overwatering. That's a dragon fruit. Here, very pretty. Love the little details on the spikes. And then I saw these little succulent bowls. We did a lot of the succulent bowl videos before, but not all of them survived. Some of them died off. There's another one over here. Yeah, they just don't like to be in 80-90% humidity, I think. And this one is the beautiful aloe. It's something big. Look at how pretty this aloe is. But it's just a shame that something ate into that. Yeah, this is, I guess, one of the downside of having plants living outdoors, is that they get fed on. This is a variegated whalefin sansevieria, by the way. What else is there? There's some Hoernias. Hoernias are my big thing. I love them. I believe this is a Hoernia. It hasn't flowered yet. And these are the mother of thousands. Let me see. This is the vertical succulent bowl. I guess they're doing much better. But a lot of these are Hoernias as well. I can't remember the exact species. Look at that spiky one over there. That is so pretty. Hi. Oh, and this is really pretty too. I believe this is the Kalanchoe, the fuzzy one. So pretty. And this is that Peperomia incana. Remember when we did the succulent bowl video? I just stuck a cutting of the unrooted cutting of the Peperomia incana. Well, there it is now. It just propagated really well into the succulent bowl. So Peperomias, they actually make very good succulent bowls as well, even though they are tropicals. So yeah, I guess let's move on. I guess there's not much I can say about these. It's not my area of expertise. Moving on, we have this giant pot of fishbone cactus. I grew this from a tiny baby, so this is actually one of my first few plants. This is the Hoya carnosa compacta regale. It's grown a little bit since our last video. I do have a video on the Hoya carnosa compacta. So this was in it. So it grew quite a bit, maybe like 2 cm in like 4 months. And back here we have another section here. So let me see if I can jump in. All right, and I am in. Let's start over here. There are some sansevierias here. This is a Alocasia dragon scale. It got quite big. I got this when I was just a baby. I didn't really know how to care for it, but I think I know how to care for it better. A lot of Alocasia dragon scale here. So this is pretty much my Alocasia section. And this is the ZZ plants, the variegated, the ZZ raven, the regular ZZ. I believe there's some Zenzi over here somewhere. This is the ZZ Zenzi. Oh my god, all these paint marks making me depressed. This is a philodendron violin, bipinna something, can't remember. This is the Ficus Velocica burgundy from our video. This is some Alocasia. I can't remember what this is, but it is pretty. It's got this really beautiful blue sheen. This is the silver dragon. Over there, I grew it from a baby. And this is really big. I don't know if this is the Reginae or something else, but I grew this from a stump as well, and it's just one of the fastest growing and largest Alocasia in my collection. Of course, my dad has much bigger ones, but yeah, this is big for my standards. So there's a lot of the Philodendron Adabapoanceae here. There are 3 pots of them just growing away. Let me see, a lot of Sansevieria, Dracaenas, whalefin, moonshine. This is just the Trifasciata variegated. There's some Alocasias, these are dragon scale, but I don't know what these are. There's some poop on here, but I don't know what this one is. So I'm not very well memorized with my Alocasias, and this as well. One of them I believe is a Suhermaniana. I can't remember all the names. I'll get it one day. Please bear with me. I'll remember the names one day. But right now I'm just learning about their care and propagation. And as you can see, I am doing a pretty good job. This is a cordyline. We saw one of the propagates up there. This is a Alocasia. I believe this is just an Alocasia mycorrhiza, the regular form. There's a fern here. Very beautiful fern. It's just always growing. This is another cordyline. I don't know if this is the kiwi or something else. Very, very pretty. And these guys, the cordylines, they love, that's also a cordyline, by the way. The chocolate something, if I'm not, chocolate queen. Can't remember the name. This is very pretty. They love to be in direct sunlight, especially in full sun. Very thirsty plants too. Give them fast draining potting mix and water them every day. And do feed them with nutrients. They can get rather big. They can become a tree. And this is a cousin to the Alocasia. I can't remember the title, the name for it, but this actually was a bigger plant. It can get enormous, and I'd lost the plant, and then I just kept the pot. I did not throw the pot away, but this grew out of it. So I'm really thankful for it to come back. I believe the mature form has red backs. So yeah, there's the Ficus elastica taniki that we got a few, probably 9 months ago, and that's the sister back there. And here's a bromeliad, really beautiful, electrifying bromeliad. There's a variegated fiddle leaf fig, Ficus lyrata. There's a Boston fern, Calathea meckiana, Tunante burla marx. This is a Maranta leconoria that is propagating. I just cut single nodes, stuck them back into soil. So yeah, there they are. They love to be in lower light, which is why it's under the other plants. And this is a variegated peace lily. This is a fern that I just got from Bogor, from Minaku Home Nature. I did a video for this tour, so hopefully that'll be out soon. And this is really pretty. This, we lost some flowers, but this is what the flowers would look like. Medellina something, I can't remember. I'll insert the name on the screen. But this is one of my, I don't know, I guess underrated plants. Look at how beautiful the leaves are. This is so pretty. I may have underwatered this at some point though. This is looking very dry. Look at that. Dry and crispy. And look at the soil. Yeah, I definitely may have underwatered that. So, sorry. Let me see, there are some Tradescantia nanux back here propagating away, and I have a feeling, look at that, they're reverting. This is too dark for them, so I need to move them somewhere brighter. And I finally got an Oxalis triangularis. I don't know if it's doing well. I got it a month ago. I've been putting it off. This is a Alocasia macrorrhiza variegata. We'll see some of the babies later. This, we call it hosta, and I did a post on these and you guys corrected me. So I don't know the name of this idea exactly, but I know that over in the States, you guys use this in landscaping, and it is an annual, so it will go dormant, and then it will survive the frost, and somehow it'll come back in the spring. That's a Philodendron Florida Ghost, Philodendron 69686. These are the ones that I mentioned earlier did not root so well. So some of them actually are experiencing root rot. I haven't really gotten to all of them yet, so I will check into them, but somehow these are growing baby leaves. So let's see what's up with that. They're apparently not so easy to propagate in my experience. Maranta Kirchoviana variegata, very pretty. Alocasia, this is another Peperomia turboensis, beautiful variegated peace lily. When you give them very good light, they respond by giving you beautiful variegation. So this is a plant that could be a light meter potentially. So if you want to know if your area is too bright or if it's dark, just get a variegated peace lily. If it reverts to green like back here, then your area is a little bit too dark. This is a beautiful Alocasia. I don't know the name again. A lot of the Epipremnum, golden pothos. Let me see. This is a Alocasia polybambino or just Alocasia bambino. I can't remember. But they look like the Amazonica, but then they face upwards, and then they have these tiny, tiny leaves. This is very cute. Yeah, I love this plant. It's like looking back up at me. Alright, so behind this area we have more of those ferns. We have a lot of Syngoniums here. This is the Syngonium elbow variegata. A lot of them have reverted, and I think that's because I kind of neglected them and I left them somewhere. This is what they're supposed to look like, much more vibrant. They respond really well to light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop up everything and then have them in my nursery and grow massive pots of these variegated ones. And this time I will give them better light. These are some baby Alocasia macrorrhiza variegata. They don't look so hot right now, but trust me, they will recover. These are all the babies. So the thing about them is that they'll just keep putting leaf after leaf after leaf after leaf, and this is dying. And then the old leaf will always die. So you'll be lucky if you have 3 or 4 leaves at any given time, because they're always putting out leaves. The thing with them is that they're also putting up pups from underneath, so you can also separate the pups. And the thing is, they're an aroid, right? So with every leaf that they come up, there's actually a node down there. So with each leaf that dies off, they will leave behind one node that has the potential of rooting and becoming its own plant when you propagate them. So this is what's not a lot of people know about Alocasias. Alright, and we did have a video on this table where I did a kind of a plant styling and rearranging. So I'm going to go quickly through it. Baby Ficus lyrata here, it's from a cutting. This is an Anthurium radicans hybrid. I got them when it was like super small. like super tiny, and then now it's gotten big. I actually haven't checked the roots or anything at all. I just kind of water this every day lightly, and it doesn't mind that. So it seems to be doing well. This is baby Apishkia here. This is a Dracaena marginata variegata. Very pretty. I really love this one. It's a very nice common plant. Look at how beautiful this is. This will make really good interior decoration as well, and good landscaping, but then this needs some direct sunlight. This is a spider plant, a bonny spider plant. Look, it's like it went out for a perm. Very pretty. Imagine this, but with like lots of little pups hanging from them. They look like fireworks, basically. And this is Maranta crachoviana, the regular form, and this is doing really well. It's put out big leaves ever since I moved it into low light because it's living under a lot of plants. And let me see, let me come around here actually. So this is a coleus, and it's very, very root bound. This one we actually is doing a video on. This is the Tomatophyllum bipinnatifidum. This is actually also one of my favorite plants. They like full sun, and that is the result of us repotting it. So you'll see that video soon enough. And this is a little bit of a challenge to propagate. So yeah, but it is shielding all the other plants below from full sun, because this plant can take full sun, by the way, and it loves it. There's more coleus here. Again, these are also full sun loving plants. This is a Schefflera variegata and arboricola, if I'm not wrong, and they also like direct sunlight. This is also a good light meter if you want to know if you're getting a good light there, because they will revert to green if you keep them in the dark. Love this little baby leaf. It makes my day. And I have a video on these also coming up, so watch out for that. This is a Halomina erubescens, if I'm not wrong, with the red stem. And this is very root bound, and some of the potting mix is even washed away by the rain, so I do need to repot this very soon. It's put up pups too. This is a whole new plant too. So I need to figure out what to do with this, and there will be a video on that. This is a Dracaena twister. Very, very funky. I really love this plant. This is a rescue actually from my mom's praying room. I did not actually know it was variegated. It actually was all green until it started putting out these variegated leaves. I guess it was responding really well to the bright light in this area, but I really like how they're curly like this. Really pretty. This is, can't remember what this is. Sorry, I totally Googled it, but this is a croton, and I have many crotons here, so I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart moment here. But they respond really well to light. This is actually a little bit of a lower light situation. If you give them bright light, they will become these crazy vibrant colors. I see them a lot in Bali, so I don't know where they're actually endemic from, but they're used heavily in landscaping, and that's a silver type of begonia. It's a cane begonia. Very pretty, and it does so well indoors. I have one that is propagating indoors that I think I will show later. And it did not have this crispiness on the leaves, because they out here it's just much more harsh for them to live in. This is my one and only cryptanthuses, I think. These are actually very underrated plants, and I can't believe how big they have gotten. Look at that, it's overtaken the pot. I got this when it was such a small plant, and this is a very underrated family of plants. Very, very pretty, and it comes in so many colorways. So I hope I can get more into them at some point. And this is a tiny cordyline. I believe this is just the way it is. It's not as big as the other cordylines. This is a variegated hibiscus, if I'm not wrong. Really love the color, the variegation on these. This is a Hadiora, if I'm not wrong. Yes, this is a Hadiora. Very, very pretty. I really love it. It's a succulent. It's a jungle cacti. Very easy to care for. I think the mama plant is back there. It's just doing its own thing. It's very forgiving. So I haven't had any issue with overwatering or having it in medium light or bright indirect light or even a little bit of direct sunlight. They will do fine. This is a really pretty plant to have. This is a Tomatophyllum, the same one as that one, but this is the baby. Very, very cute. Look at that. This is a spider plant, and the most classic form, and I have a video on these where I mentioned that one day I hope to get all these beautiful hanging pups, and I got it. Look at how pretty this looks. I've got one more that's hanging over there actually in the macrame, but I did lose some of the pups. Maybe I kind of underwatered this at some point, but the key is to get them to a mature size and keep them a little bit root bound. Oh, I think I know why. There are a lot of ants here. I think this may be a little bit pest prone. So yeah, anyways, let's get back here. This is the Xerosicus denguei. have a video on these coming up on how to care and propagate these. They love full sun, and they can be watered a little bit more if you give them full sun. Some Dracaena, lemon lime. I can't remember what these two are. These are both Dracaenas, and they're a little bit different. This is a beautiful pot of fern. This is a nice dendrobium orchid. Look at the flowers. That's what the leaves look like. Really love orchids. Asparagus fern. What else do I have here? This is the Sansevieria trasfasciata, variegata. This is Alocasia cuprea. Very, very easy to care for Alocasia in my experience. This is a fern that is always kind of struggling. It's just flopping over. Not sure what this fern is, and I'm not sure what the deal is. It doesn't like to be dried out for sure. I can tell, but look at how beautiful the leaves are. Yeah, and maybe a little bit dry for them. The media looks very... So I did water this morning though. I watered them quite a bit, but it's looking very limp. So this is probably a very hot day and also a very thirsty plant. So I need to be more on top of my watering. But we're moving soon, so don't worry about it. Someone will take care of you, hopefully. This is philodendron violin that's golden, so it has this gold new leaf. This is a baby. I made the cut here, and I propagated the top. So it actually does look like a violin. This is a Thermatophyllum Xanadu. It's been reclassified from a philodendron. This is the main stem. That's the new baby growth here. I believe this is probably very pot bound because the leaves keep getting smaller and smaller. So I do need to figure this out soon. This is really cute. This is a Sansevieria, I can't remember, Hoya or dwarf. Don't know my Sansevieria name, but this is so pretty. It started with one clump, and it just kept putting out clump after clump. And yeah, very pretty. I believe here is a Ficus benjamina variegata, if I'm not wrong. This is actually very difficult to care for, very prone to overwatering, and they do like very bright light, and also very pest prone as a ficus. Alright, so back here we have all the Apicias. I did show you one indoors earlier, and it's doing so well, but look at these ones. They're not so pretty when you have them outdoors. I don't think they like having their leaves wet, but otherwise they keep growing, and they are putting out all these pups, which I will, of course, propagate later on. And this is why they're so cheap to get to, because they propagate so easily and so well, and they grow really fast. But again, these plants, I recommend to grow them indoors, or at least away from the rain, and I would not mist it at all. I don't think this plant appreciates being misted. Look at these beautiful shiny leaves, but they are, I mean, they feel a little bit fragile. So yeah, baby pup. And then up here, I don't know, this is a philodendron something, or a Thermatophyllum, so William Z, or something else, I'm not sure. But this is a 3 pots actually of Hoya macrophylla variegata, and I believe this is the mama plant, and everybody else came from them, as well as some of the ones that we saw earlier in the nursery. This is getting almost full sun. It's getting quite good direct sunlight, but as I mentioned earlier, this did not flower at all, but it kept putting out leaf after leaf after leaf. Seriously, they put out, I think, 1 leaf every 2 weeks. That's how fast these guys are growing. And right over here we have some of the pineapples. These are all different species of pineapples. I don't know the names, I'm sorry. That's the one that's in SpongeBob. And I think I do need to repot these, because this is looking very crazy. Look at that. It's probably very root bound. So I'm gonna have to do that. This is the first pineapple that I propagated. It started out pretty small, and now look at how big this is. This has gone really big. It's actually really pretty even without the fruit. And it's a very pretty plant, except that it may poke your eyes, so just be careful when you're around these. I water these every day. It likes to be in very good direct sunlight, and I do fertilize this. I believe that this is a plant that needs to be fed, because it is a fruiting plant. And there's another one over there that's really pretty as well. And again, they are all in the Bromeliaceae family, which is the relative of the bromeliads, which is why they look pretty much like a bromeliad. But this is free of charge, because I just bought them from a supermarket. I ate the fruit and cut the tops, and this is what results from it. So free plants, yay. All right, so back here we have this, we call it just the cowboy cactus. It's very, very pest prone here. I guess it just doesn't like the humidity, but it did put out this big thing here. So this is about 18 months worth of growth. So they are very slow growing, but surely enough they do grow, and I have to keep treating them for pests. It's annoying. They just keep coming back. And this is actually scale. That is the I can't remember the name. Euphorbia trigona, try something, because it's got a triangular shape. So I'm gonna be doing a propagation and care video for these soon, because this is such a beautiful plant. Look at that, and it looks like it's so ready to be propagated. Very, very underrated plant. This is actually a very easy euphorbia to care for in my experience. There's a lot of these Sansevieras, don't remember the names. And another Alocasia macrorrhiza, very good. Again, they keep losing leaves, but that is okay. This is just how they grow. And this one's putting out a pup from underneath, even though I recently repotted this and took out all the pups. Oh, another one. Oh, another one. There's 3 pups. This is a naughty plant. You've been, 4, 5. I see 5 plantlets. This is a very naughty plant. And for these Alocasias, and most Alocasias, if you want them to grow bigger and bigger leaves, you may want to separate. You may have to repot it, take out all the pups, because sometimes the parent plant is supplementing food for the baby. So you want them to only focus on the top growth. So you do want to try to separate the pups where possible, so you can focus all its energy on the main plant. And the main plant will always put out leaf after leaf after leaf after leaf. And the next leaf is supposed to be bigger than the last until it reaches a really big size, because these guys, they can get pretty huge. So this is another Alocasia. This is a Colocasia, if I'm not wrong, down here. The Colocasia Black Magic, if I'm not wrong. This is very pretty. And these guys, actually, they love full sun, just so you know. This is a zebra plant. I will insert the Latin name on the screen. This is a very underrated house plant. This is very, very beautiful. And it does put out these beautiful yellow flowers. Very interesting. And they like bright indirect light, maybe a little bit of direct sunlight. It's great for them. They do not like to be in low light. They will give you yellow leaves that fall off, and they don't want to be overwatered also with most houseplants. Very, very pretty. And these are more caladiums. I've got a caladium video coming. So many spoilers for you guys. But these are not as white because they are not getting enough light. So if you want them to be very, very white with these beautiful green veins, give them full sun. And this is another Stomatophyllum by Pinetophytum. This is our more crotons, and these are also screaming for more light because it's putting out all green leaves. But normally they would like to put out more vibrant colors if they're getting enough sun. And I guess there's a lot of tree covers around here, so it's not really getting the light that it deserves. And also because it is, what month is it now? It's like May. Yeah, it's May, so the sun is actually more on the northern hemisphere. So we're in the southern side of the house now. So this is not getting full sun for the next 3 months or so. So yeah, Syngonium. This is from our Syngonium video. Yeah, I guess I'm done with downstairs. I'm gonna start taking you guys upstairs. Here are some of the plants in my bedroom. So this is west-facing window. And let's start from here. We have a caladium that is I'm trying to rescue. It's not doing so well, but it's put out a new leaf, so it's good. This is a peperomia. Cannot remember the name for the life of me. Propagating away a cacti. I don't have many cacti in my collection. This is a fiddle fig, bambino, that is propagating away. It's rooted really well, but I'm just waiting for new growth. Here's a Tradescantia. It's the fuzzy one. This is actually a rescue. I cut off the tops, so the little vines are appearing from the bottom because the top portion rotted off. Here are some Scindapsus argyrius that's propagating away. I've got some that is in water right here. It's actually very murky. I should have changed the water a while ago. There's this white fuzz around it. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm going to clean the leaves later. I think it's just hard water stain. So these are propagating away. These are caladiums that have the red speckles. Some begonia cathedrals propagating away. Here are some begonia manau that is propagating away. These are the ones that were the siblings of the, what do you call that? The prop box. So as you can see, these guys are doing much better. Hoya retusa, this is the parent plant. And this is that begonia that we actually saw earlier as well, but it looks so pretty here indoors. That's one of the cuttings. Really love this begonia. Their leaves can get huge. And it looks like a Rex begonia, but it is in fact a cane begonia. So it grows up like a cane, like if you can see from here, it grows upwards. And that's a plant that's not doing so well. It's, forget the name, it's the Christmas cactus plant. I'll insert the name on the screen. Begonia Manao. Here's a cactus that I brought back from Bangkok. It's been with me for a year and a half. It doesn't do much, but now it's turning to flower. Adansonii, this is a Aglaonema pictum tricolor. It hasn't rooted in, I don't know, 2 months, so something's wrong with that. This is a pinguicula. It likes to feed on fungus gnats. Hoya bella here. We've got more Adansonii, variegated. Let's look up here. We've got Pilea peperomides. The way you care for these is to give them very good top light, which is why I don't put these on a shelf below. They need really good top light because they are, as you can see, they're circular. So I sometimes rotate them. And yeah, they do really well. I water them every day because they're in terracotta pot, fast draining potting mix, west window, and I do have AC on at night, so the humidity does dip quite a bit and the media is bone dry by the next morning. It's already looking a little bit dry now, but it's going to be light brown by tomorrow morning. Here are a lot of Tradescantias that are propagating away. Let me see over here. These are basically my propagation station. Another Caladium, they do like bright light. This is a Begonia, the one that we saw earlier, but I want to keep one copy indoors just to see how it fares. Peperomia incana. This Peperomia turbulensis, also duplicates, because all of these basically have duplicates outdoors. I just wanted to see how well they grow and propagate indoors versus outdoors. This is Hoya retusa. Hoya retusa. There's some Peperomia. This is Crucifolia. There's a Dischidia back there, Oyantha variegata. Here is that Begonia, also a duplicate. This is so pretty. And Peperomia, caparata, pink lady. Is that silver begonia that we saw outside as well. I guess this does well both. This is shimmering really bad. It's growing well both indoors and outdoors. And here are some more that are propagating away. This is Peperomia incana, turbulensis, and the raindrop Peperomia. I've got another section of propagation station here. So these are golden pothos. I'm making a video on these, so I do have some propagating outdoors and some indoors. This does get a little bit of direct sunlight in the day, and these are some begonias that are Begonia maculatus, and these are 2 cuttings in 1 pot. So yeah, they're propagating away. And what else is down there? This is a Peperomia argyria. These are my Hoya linearis. They seem to like indoors, colder temperatures, and I do water this slightly every day. I kind of mist it every day. I don't want to let it dry out completely, but they're all doing fine. I started with 1 pot, and then it's 3, and now I have 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I have 5 pots, and these are all very full. These are full of cuttings. So yeah, here's a Camphiria, a Calathea musaica, a Calathea Thai beauty. This is also propagation. So yeah, some of them are outdoors, more Calatheas, and here is a Dieffenbachia stem cutting. Ooh, and this right here, this is the African violet, and it's flowering. It's looking really pretty, and the flowers actually have this silver shimmer to them. They're not that hard to grow in my experience, and these are the ones that are propagating away, so a bit of a spoiler. I'll be making videos on these soon. This is a really good indoor flowering plant other than the peace lily. This one rooted in water, and this one as well, but then it hasn't put out anything. It was actually propagated at the same time, but this was stuck directly into soil, and as you can see, they do much better propagated directly into soil. So yeah, let's go outside. So here's my bedroom balcony, and in case you can't hear the birds chirping, this is the next morning actually, and it just rained last night, so the floor is a little bit wet. So let me get started actually right here in this corner. Down here we have Maranta Leconoria lemon lime, and this one actually likes low light, which is why it's sitting way back here. This is a variegated monstera, and it's putting out a new leaf. And actually dipped one of the roots in here, so it's probably rooted really well in there. Although I should have just lifted this pot a little bit higher, because this piece of root is way too long. This is not a very good air layering propagation. But look at all these other roots. I should have air layered them, but I haven't had the time to do it. And down there we've got more Calathea. Sorry, that's a Tenanti Burle Marx. This is a Maranta no ID. I mislabeled it as the silver band before, but yeah, a lot of you guys have corrected me. Thank you. This is the Calathea Thai Beauty. or Thai star. This is the parent plant. We showed you the propagation earlier. This is another one. This is a Chenanti. I can't remember all the names. And here's the Begonia Cathedral. They look really pretty at night when you shine light from underneath them. Calathea or Jopertia or Bifolia. That's more of that weird poop stuff here. I don't know what this is. It's everywhere. Ugh. And there's another one of those over there. Here's a one that's not doing so well. This is a Stromanthri Triostar, but it is recovering a bit. The new leaves are looking good. And then what else is there? There's a Cissus discolor. There's a few Calatheas there that I kind of ignored. There's a lot of the philodendron, Passoxanthums that are propagating back there. Those are the leaves. They're facing away because that's where the light is. So when you have your plants, do not have them face you. They should be facing outside where the light is. Because if you have them facing you, they will be very stressed out. They will try to move their leaves back towards the light. So yeah, but these guys are all doing well. These cuttings are all putting out little growth points here. That's great. I see 2 growth points here actually. This is really cool. Yeah, so they're gonna do well. They're very hard to come by here. I'm very glad that they're doing okay. This is some kind of piper. This is the more velvety one. I can't remember the names. And this is more Cissus discolor. They're just everywhere, vining around. Calathea, I believe this is White Star or Beauty Star, or it could be the Ornada. There's a Calathea zebrina back here, a Peperomia incana parent plant, because we did many cuttings and they're all up here. Look at all these cuttings of the Peperomia incana, and that's all coming from this plant right there. Thank you. Here's a Peperomia metallica. These are all propagate. They're all in these little trays. Holybotria. There's a philodendron Florida Beauty. This is a Scindapsus silvery N. And more Peperomia caparata. Pink Lady, Pink Lady, Pink Lady. There's another Peperomia, the one that we had indoors. I always have duplicates, one indoors and one outdoors, to see how they do. This is a Scindapsus tubii dark silver plate, and this is what it looks like. Hang on. So yeah, this is a little bit overwatered. I need to back off watering on these. Look at that, all these leaves. Yeah, this is severely overwatered. But this is what the leaves look like. They look like the tubii dark that is completely black, but this one has a silver band on it. More Peperomia, Fittonia, the ones that I haven't killed. I killed this Fittonia in here. And then there's another Pilea back there. Scindapsus, Syngonium erythrophyllus. I have them everywhere around the house, but yeah, I don't know what to do with them. They grow quite well, and they're quite beautiful, but I don't know what to do with them. I just have them everywhere. Some begonias. These are all Peperomias that are propagating way more of those poop things. I don't know if this is poop or if these are caterpillar eggs. If you know what it is, do let me know. More Peperomias. They're all so pretty. This is all grown in these little things, in these little pots. Look at all the roots. So they'll be transferred into a black plastic pot before I sell them. And then what else is there? There's a peace lily here that I grew from many stumps. I wanted to experiment with them, and this is what they look like. This is a begonia cutting. This is the main leaf that died off. This escargot, sorry, the begonia escargot. So this is the one leaf that came out from there. Florida Ghost, if I'm not wrong. I just don't remember. Oh, this is Alocasia zebrina. You can see from the stem here that this is a zebrina. Baby zebrina, and that's a Monstera Thai constellation. It's 9 months old, and this is what 9 months can get you for a Monstera Thai constellation. They're super slow growing. There's a Cissus discolor. I don't know where the original pot is, and this is what happens with them. They will clamor all over the place. There's a Rhaphidophora back there attached to the wall, growing upwards. There's some Cissus discolor here that I'm experimenting with propagations. Also one here, put out a vine. And I think after I cut the vine off here, some of these nodes should activate. That's at least my guess with some of these. Can't remember what this plant is. This could be a, let me see, what are you? Yeah, I have no idea. I don't label my plants. I don't measure my ingredients. Sorry, I'm very disorganized. This is a baby Sharonii, by the way. These were grown from wet sticks. I really love how cute the little leaves are. I was gonna sell it, and then I realized there's actually 2 vines in here. That's why I couldn't sell it yet. So I may watch this grow up, and I will probably propagate it along the way to get many more plants. And maybe I'll be able to sell lots of these babies if I got many of these wet sticks. because they are quite expensive, and if I can get like the wet sticks from these, more people can afford it. So this is a begonia snowcaps, if I'm not wrong, or it could be something else. It's a cane begonia. That's the Anthurium poly something. We saw the parent plant downstairs in the nursery, but these are the babies that are propagating in moss. Very easy to propagate. More begonias back there propagating away. This is a philodendron strawberry shake. Let me show you one of the more variegated leaf. This one, and yeah, this is what this look like. More peperomia. There's a Hoya, Croniana, super silver, super Eskimo. That's a philodendron fabricatum, I don't know. That's a Hoya australis Lisa. And up here, getting really good direct sunlight, this is Hoya macrophylla variegata. These are all cuttings. So I just basically took a single node and just stuck them in here, and everybody did well. So they're very easy to propagate. And then way up here, this is the Xerosicus dengue. And look at the roots here, how cute. There's going to be a video on these, so this is a major spoiler for you guys. This is a Tillandsia xerographica. That's a philodendron Warzawiskii that I rescued. I had this for so long and it did not grow, and then realized that it had root rot. But fortunately I managed to save it, and the roots look really good right now. Yeah, it looks really fine. And then that new leaf is coming out. So this is a pretty slow growing rescue plant. It's like over a year to get to this point. All right, moving on, we have the Hoya curtisii here. They actually love direct sunlight. If you give them direct sunlight, they'll turn into this sunstressed pink blush. And then down here we have some Alocasia frydek. I actually killed the parent plant, but before I killed it, I actually managed to take some of the tubers and rhizomes out, the main stem, and then they all apparently took. So I'm glad I had this baby, even though I did buy new ones because I thought I wasn't gonna save it. So yeah, now we have this. This is a Thanksgiving cactus, if I'm not wrong. Philodendron. And this is a pretty one. This is a, oh my god, it's not doing so well. I may have missed watering at some point. But this is a Pteris ensiformis, if I'm not wrong. Look at how beautiful the leaves are. This is looking very, very pretty. I love this plant, but it is one of the harder ferns to take care of. So I'm gonna nurse this back to health at some point. I may have to increase the level of the potting mix here and not let it dry out too much. Here's a Stephania erecta that has just come back from a 6-month sleep. Pretty. And this is a caladium that also came back from a sleep. I believe this was about 4 or 5 months. I'm having a video on this coming up soon. This is the babies. Look at how many babies it has. Very cute. And this is another caladium. And then this is a very frequently asked plant ID. This is a Dioscorea discolor. It's very difficult to find here, so hopefully I'll be able to propagate this soon. There's a lot of Tillandsias here. They just get rained on, or I just hose them down every day. This is an Anthurium Viterifolium variegata. This is from a plant swap. There's a baby Ficus benjamina here that was a gift, but also I'm experimenting with it. Not the easiest to grow. I have the other one grown downstairs, which we saw earlier. This is more of the Hoya Croniana silver or super Eskimo. Dischidia ovata. This is just trailing down. And then I have more. This is like my random plant section. This is a string of hearts, variegated string of hearts. I killed so many of these, but then before I killed them, I always managed to get cuttings. So I haven't had a really long vine from these guys, but I have many of them now, as you can see, because I keep propagating them. So I just basically wind them to the next pot like this, and then just have them loop around, and I'll just cut it off from the parent plant. So that's one way that I do it. Look at this one. This is wound really tight to it. Sometimes I also press it down a little bit to make sure that it's rooted into the potting mix. These are all Euphorbia neorubellums. We also saw these earlier, but these are 4 or 5 cuttings in one pot. They can be water propagated, so I have a video on these in case you want to know how they're propagated. And I do want to separate them and then have the bulb be a little bit exposed on the pot on top of the soil so that the bulb can get massive. This is one of the examples. This is such a beautiful thick stem. It's probably flowering too. soon. Look at this. Yeah, this is the same plant, and this is a little bit more mature. I actually need to plant this a little bit higher up on the soil so that the bulb has room to expand. So here we have some Dischidia, Ruscifolia, Variegata, regular form. There's many Dischidias here. This is another one. Ruscifolia. This is a Dischidia Oyantha, Variegata. There's a fern back here. This is also another difficult fern to care for. I struggle with this. This is more Hoya, Croniana, Super Eskimo. I know I'm not supposed to say they were super silver. Here is Dischidia ovata. Let me see. This is really cute, by the way. I really love growing my Dischidias in this coconut husk situation here. Very pretty. Look at that fern. That's a little bit of mold, by the way. I do need to spray some fungicide on this. But yeah, it's got a roommate piggybacking on it. But this is a cool way to grow Dischidias. So there's quite a few of them here. This one is trailing really beautifully. There's Hoya retusa, Hoya carnosa crimson queen. Here is a Dischidia imbricata, if I'm not wrong, or a hybrid that I got from Thailand. There's some Philodendron chironii back here. They're facing away from us. Another reminder, have your plants face towards the light, you guys. Your plants should not face your living room or should not face you. They should face outside. I know it's not as sightly, but this is what they like to do. This is why my plants grow successfully, and this is why they grow so fast, because I don't have them facing me. Here is a Monstera elbow variegata, and I kind of knew that this will not have variegation because of the, what do you call this, the stem here is not variegated. So I left two nodes, because you can see this two nodes here. So it may branch out from below. I actually haven't checked to see if the lower node has variegation or not, but normally when I cut plants I would cut this whole thing off, but since I knew this was not going to give me green variegated leaf, I saved another node. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Ficus elastica, this is one of my first plants, and it got really big over time. I guess let's start with up here, I guess, with this shelf. So that's some kind of jungle cacti, and it likes full sun, which is why it's giving me this really beautiful red blush. I got this in our nursery tour video. I can't remember how long ago it was, and this is just some of the propagates. And down here we have some Hoya Weyedii variegata. This is very slow growing but very rewarding plant. I have a feeling I may have propagated this, but I don't remember where I put that propagated plant. I may have lost it. Here's a Monstera elbow variegata, and there's a new leaf coming. I believe this one's on sale, but I'm not sure. Yeah, there's a new leaf along the way, and as you can see, it's a little bit variegated because the stripe there, do you see it passed through the growing eye. And then there's one of my favorite aglaonemas, actually. This is the Aglaonema Lotus Delight by Sir Greg Hambali. This is a cultivar, very pretty. Let me see if I can do it justice by giving it better light. There you go. It's beautiful, shiny leaves with perfect coloring. My goodness, that pink, the veining, and that just the enough touch of green. It's just really pretty. And then this is another Aglaonema. This is a very common variety. I believe what it's called. And this one is called like lipstick here, Aglaonema. And actually these are all propagates too. Just look at all these cuttings that are in here. So I have a lot of Aglaonema content coming up soon. This is the Aglaonema rotundum X with tricolor. So this is the really interesting, and I have some Aglaonema tricolors that I showed earlier in the video, but this is the Aglaonema what do you call this, pictum, sorry, that's what I was looking for, Aglaonema pictum, but this is without the tricolor, and this is the Aglaonema pictum tricolor X rotundum, and I believe this is the one of the parent plant for this one. Sorry, this is the top and that's the bottom. So I just chopped this off. And as you can see, Aglaonemas, when you cut them off on the top, look at all these things that will grow from below. Look at that. Everything is growing and growing. They love to be pruned. Please prune your Aglaonemas and please propagate them. They will thank you for it. And then back there, this is a Piper crocatum. And this is herbal actually. My mom has me grown this for her diabetes, apparently. This is an Aglaonema, and I can't remember the species of this. And I've got a lot of these Senecio macroglosus, if I'm not wrong. I have a video coming up on this. I believe it's coming out next week. Some Tradescantia here, and these are the fuzzy ones. They really hate to be watered, which is why they should actually not be here, because they get rained on. The fuzzy leaves mean that they can rot very easily. So I believe this is one of those desert varieties that like a little bit bright light and infrequent watering. Moving on down, this is the parent plant of the Dischidia numularia variegata. It's gone a little bit out of control, but they actually look pretty when they're in smaller pots, so I may propagate these more. And this is the Dischidia gerriae, or they call it green apple, or the Dischidia cascade here. There's a lot of ferns here. Look at all these stowaway plants. They're just having the time of their lives, but not for long. I'm gonna remove you guys soon. I'm sorry. Except this one, actually. This is the Hoya variegata. I lost a lot of it from root rot, but somehow I think I managed to save it. This is looking fine now. It lost a few leaves. The thing is that I want to keep this fern here because this is so prone to overwatering that the fern is actually helping absorb a lot of the excess moisture, because ferns are very thirsty plants. So if you have plants like this that hate water, just put a fern in it, so you're less likely to overwater it. And here are all the Dischidias. Look at that. I wish I had some pactinoides. I had some, but I think I killed all of it. But these are all Dischidia imbricatas, Dischidia oyanta, variegata. Very, very pretty. Look, love it. And I have these grown in really, really full pots. So you can imagine if you give it a few months' time, this is going to get rather bushy. And with these Dischidias, I'm definitely growing them out in very different types of settings. There's some of these grown in aroid potting mix, some in coconut husk. This is in fact a Hoya bella, hello. And let me see what else there's some Syngonium erythrophilus again. I have them everywhere. Very, very slow to grow, very slow to propagate. Same with these are the Monstera perus. Very slow to propagate as well. They're very slow growing plants for our Monsteras. And let me get down here actually. There's more Dischidias over there, but I kind of ignored them, so they became mostly ferns, and there's some sphagnum growing up there from the moss, I guess. The sticks that you see there, those are sphagnum. And then there's a Piper bright eyes, and it's named that way because of these bright eyes that they have. This is a variegated Monstera that is a parent plant, because I chopped up so many of these. And let me see if I can see any. Nope, I don't see any growth point yet, but there's 3 nodes for it to potentially put out new vines. And this is some more of the Hoya bella. Sorry, I have you on the floor. But a lot of things have been chewing this up. This is why I moved them in the floor, because I think caterpillars or something ate all the leaves when it's up on the shelf. This is some more variegated Monstera. These are the variegated Monsteras that are under shelves because they're getting way too much variegation. So I'm giving them lower light to encourage less variegation, and it is working. So I'm getting, as you can see here, this is very, very variegated, and then as you get up to the top, the new leaf is a little bit more balanced. So same thing with here. Oh, sorry, this new leaf is very variegated actually. But actually I just moved this here not so long ago. This is from a shallow pot. So usually when you move them, in fact I'm going to move this even further. I can't move it back because this is in the way. But I would give this much lower light just to encourage less variegation. So the more light you give it, the more variegation it'll have. And if you want it to revert, you give it low light, because Monsteras will revert to green when you give them low light. These are all philodendron Parasilvertes. Look at how big these are. This is huge. I have these up on sale, but no one's buying them up. I don't know why. I guess maybe they've lost their popularity, or maybe, I don't know. I think I'm selling them at a really good price, no? At this size. This is a pretty big size. And they're putting out new leaves. Look at that one. How cute. This is actually a very underrated philodendron. They grow really fast, really beautiful leaves. And yeah, I do have an episode on these, just in case you were wondering how to care for them. This is the Epipremnum Cebu Blue, the newest leaf. This is from our video. I believe a few weeks ago we had this video, and this is kind of, I guess, an update for these. And then there's more variegated Monsteras back here. This is the Parasilverde again. I really like the shape of this one. This looks like a dragon's head, and I like that it's asymmetrical. Then there is a big pot of Philodendron branchianum over here. This is in moss still. And then Let me show you some. Yeah, this is a very beautifully variegated Monstera. I really love looking at this. Look at that. This is going to be mostly white leaf, I think, with a little bit of green stripe. So yeah, you can see from the new growth point here. And there are some Adansonii variegata, Adansonii variegata, and then this is another one. This is actually the parent plant, but it's only given me green leaf after green leaf. However, if I check down below that one little growth point here, I hope that this is going to give me some white variegation. So there's another one forming. So these are all branching out really well, but unfortunately I'm not getting variegated leaf. So I'm a little bit disappointed by that. Here's an Emydrium zippelianum. This is a baby Jose Buonos. Let me see what else do I. Here's a Philodendron Burlemarx Fantasy down here. I broke one of the leaves. I tried to lift the leaf up. Apparently they don't like that, and it just broke right off. Like the leaves are very stiff like this actually. So they're shinglers. They love to shingle up walls and moss poles. So I will be propagating these soon. This is how small I got it. Like when I got it, it was like literally this small, and now it's gotten this big in about 9 months, I would say. Here's a Monstera dubaya, and it's trying to find something to climb onto. But I'm going to be propagating this soon, so I'm not worried about that. More variegated Monsteras, they're just everywhere here. And then, yeah, more of those. This is a Philodendron biliatai. It's losing its leaf. It's got root rot. The new leaves are coming. And let me see. Yeah, I guess these are all just variegated Monsteras. And that's like some kind of poop. Yeah, and then I think the last section would be this right here. This is the Dischidia Numularia Dragon Jade. I had a lot of root rot, so I basically just chopped them up into pieces and propagated them, and this is where they are now. I need to take this sphagnum moss. This is really annoying me. These are some wet stick propagations of Emydrium medium silver. This is the unvariegated version of the Senecio macroglossus, and I really love the shape of these. This is this color. This is what I'm propagating. So this, you can actually propagate them right into airy potting mix, and they will take off like crazy. There's a, they call it Sirih Papua here. I can't remember the English name for these, but this is really pretty, the red backs. I've seen them get huge in nursery tours, so I hope mine can get big someday. And here we have some really beautiful botanical curiosities. I believe this is a Schismatoglotis, but it's losing its color. I may have overwatered these recently. Or you know what, hang on, look at all these specks. I think it's pest. It's pest, look at them. These are all bite marks. I have to treat this plant soon. It's not looking good. It's definitely had its better days before. I need to treat all these plants nearby actually for the same pest, because they always would spread. This is a pretty plant. I hope I can find the ID. And they put out these beautiful berries that are red in color, and the leaves itself, they're so spectacular. They're very pretty. Then there's this. This is a Schismatoglotis for sure. I don't know if there are many varieties of these. I feel like there are, and they just come in different patterns. Look at how pretty these leaves are. And they come in this rosette pattern, and as you can see here, they kind of grow like peace lilies, where they put out these babies from the side. And I have a feeling they're probably aroids too. I'm not sure if Schismatoglotis are aroids or not. Oh yeah, they are. Sorry, that answered my question. Look at this flower, inflorescent happening here. Oh my gosh. Focus. Yep, that's the inflorescent. So yeah, this can be propagated like an aroid, I think, like an aglaonema probably. Here are some Epipremnum. I believe this is the Amplacimum variegata. I'm squatting on the floor right now in case you're wondering. One of them says Scindapsus. I can't remember which one is which. One of them says Scindapsus variegata. This is a Syngonium that is yellow variegated. There are, this is an interesting plant. I do need to find the ID for this. It's the Cyrastum cordifolium. Look at how pretty the leaves are. This is just so stunning. Look at that. I have a feeling that these are grown widely in landscaping type situation, but I might be wrong. I have a feeling they would flower really nicely too. It's just a feeling that I have. These are some local variegated Monstera Adansonii that I have on the floor randomly, and these are up for sale. Look at how pretty the variegations are. And then what else is there? This is Philodendron mame here. It's missed this mouthful. I gave it a mouthful, but it decided to lean over, and I just hadn't had the chance to correct it. But I'm going to propagate this anyway. Look at all these aerial roots. They're just asking to be propagated. So that's going to happen as soon as I move. Here's a Monstera acuminata, or at least it's sold to me as that, but I don't know the difference between acuminata, esqueleto, or Adansonii. I'm not an expert in that. And I guess the last but not least, this is the Philodendron White Knight. Yeah, I sold quite a few of these. I had one originally, I believe this is the parent plant, that did not have much variegation at all. So I chopped it up into 4 plants, and all of them started putting out variegated leaves. So that's pretty amazing. I guess if you are trying to encourage more variegation, one of the ways that you can do it is to propagate it. So I guess thank you so much for watching this video. I guess this is a goodbye to this house. As I move on to the next chapter, I'll be giving you a tour of my new home and see how they are doing in my new home, how I arrange it, how I style my plants, and how I care for it in a whole new environment. I'm at Botanist on Instagram. If you want to DM me on any questions regarding plant care and propagation, I'll try my best to get back to you. Meanwhile, do take care and stay safe. I will see you in the next video. Bye!